Nah. We am live. What's going on, guys? It's the Sunday live stream. We are going to be reviewing the Gundam The Origin, Advent of the Red Comet, Episode 3, entitled Edouard and Sayla. Now, unfortunately, my normal cohort is not able to join me this week as he's dead. He's not actually dead. Bad joke. But, of course, Rodimus 13 didn't get a chance to join in. He was really not feeling great this morning. Told me more than likely he probably wouldn't be able to join. But we were already a week behind, so I figured I'd go grab some other dork. I found this one.
Hi.
Good old Joe Guns.
Joey Gunota coming at you with another live stream.
Yes.
You already ruined your joke.
I did, but it doesn't matter. So I was gonna do a thing, but I forgot. So but yeah, I'll do that real quick actually. So guys, I had to turn comments off on the last one because I knew the kind of comments that were going to be coming in after the way the last review ended, and I will say that eventually, like almost immediately after the live stream, I contacted you and was talking to you because I realized my mistake, and we ended up actually talking about a lot of other crazy stuff because for some reason the shadow of the moon didn't make sense to me, but I had explained to you how black hole drives work in Star Trek. So sci-fi I have a grip on. But I did want to apologize to people because I was drinking on the last live stream. I did have a Dr. Pepper or Pepsi and vodka. So basically from now on, I'm just not going to be drinking vodka on the live streams. That's why I've got this instead. Nice hard cider with cherries. Nowhere near as much alcohol. But guys, I see you over here in the chat. I see Totally Not Marlon. What's going on? Hida Atarasi. Okay. You found it on Crunchyroll. You are watching what we are watching. It's called Advent of the Red Comet. It's the serialized version of the movies.
Yeah.
Same thing they did with Unicorn.
If you want to watch the original OVA versions, where there's only 6 episodes instead of 13, they are on Hulu. So
yes, they are on Hulu. I found them there. Oops, I dropped Wally. Wally.
Don't drop Wally.
Wally down. And he doesn't have a fire extinguisher to help him get back. And then Alex Ruiz. Hi. So we're just going to BS here for a little bit, make sure more people show up.
Right on.
So the last couple weeks have gone pretty well over on the channel. Some of you guys seem to really be liking the Masterpiece Mondays, where I'm going over the Toy World Constructicons, which, of course, if you like good old G1 Devastator, be watching these things. And actually, if you're one of my patroneers, you got to see the Devastator review today, weeks ahead of everybody else. So if you're interested in seeing things way ahead of other people, or in fact choosing the next builds I do, which also, if you're watching and you're a patroneer, you have a Patreon pick video sitting up there to pick one or two of the next builds that I do. So we can go work on that. Also, we had multiple different reviews. I had the Woundwort go up. I had the Penelope that went up on Friday.
The Penelope?
Penelope. Oh, you didn't watch the review where I refer to it into Penelope?
Not yet. I save your reviews for when I'm working.
When you're working on stuff, yeah. So yeah, it's the Penelope, and if you don't know, the Penelope is the Odysseus Gundam when it connects with the unit. Watch the review, you'll know what I'm talking about. And also I've had on Thursdays, I've been doing the Transformers Thursdays, reviewing the New Age G1 little bitty legendary Transformers, or legend scale Transformers, and you guys have actually been responding to those, especially Megatron. Everybody really seems to like that Megatron review. If it comes in time, I will be doing the Seekers. So Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. I'm waiting on Thundercracker. It should be shipping, and hopefully will be here Thursday. So it might end up being a Saturday review, not a Thursday review.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Also, my latest 30-minute missions build will be going up this week as well, which you guys probably didn't even know I had. One of those last end of 2019 builds. And there was another thing. I don't have my schedule pulled up like a dummy. But like it's just one of those things. Oh, of course, it's coming down to the end of the month. For those who have been waiting to see the War Greymon review. There we go. That's the last Gunpla review of January. So for my Patreon guys got to see that back in December or at the very beginning of this month, whichever I did. But the rest of you had to wait this long. So, and by the way, Metal Garurumon announced on Friday.
I saw that. I really like the effect parts on the wings.
I don't, but that's okay because I won't use them.
They remind me of the effect parts that came with the old 1/100 high grade wing Gundam, like the original 1/100. Yeah,
that makes sense. I wish they had done them in a lighter blue, like because I think in the cartoon it was more of a whitish blue, not a yellow.
Yeah.
So I wish they had gone that route with it, but I'm definitely gonna pick that up. Now it seems like I need to get Omegamon or Omnimon with it as well, because I'll have each side of him.
You have to get them all.
Have to get at least those because they're worth it. Yeah. And as I've talked about before, if they keep doing this this line and giving us new Digimon kits, whether they're redone old ones or they're brand new designs, I'll go for it. Especially if they're doing like the main couple hero Digimon from each series, I'd be down.
Yeah. It's been so long since I've watched the series.
I was wondering why. So my cord is like caught up. I was like, why do I feel restricted? All right, Jerry Leo, what's up? Everyone likes Megatron. Yeah, mostly. So the majority of the Shoki 2 content moved to the main account. Not the majority. I'm still keeping like the main kind of action figures and stuff like that over there. The things that will definitely be more construed as kids content. But because I know that less people do watch on that channel, with the exception of my C-3PO review, which has like 700 views out of nowhere. I guess I timed it with the movie release, so I guess that's why everybody saw it that week. Because I got like 600 views in like 3 days, and I'm like, that's more than all my other shit combined over there. But no, for the most part, like the Transformer stuff, basically anything more robot related is going to be here. And then I did the Dark Knight's Metal statue, last one over here, because it just made more sense to put it here where more people are gonna see it. Put it over there and get 5, put it over here and get 50. You know, that's the difference. And even when I share the reviews, like I did with Lord Draken, I shared Lord Draken on my community tab. Almost nobody watched it even from that. So if you are interested in my action figure stuff, like I'm going to be doing an out the box review of the new Marvel Legends Doctor Doom, which looks amazing. I'm going to be doing that here in a couple days, along with the Android 17 and 18 from the Dragon Stars line. If that one's not public already. I don't think it is. I think it's this week. So I'm just gonna, whenever I do more action figure related things, it'll be on the secondary channel. And then probably go back to doing a couple vlogs here and there, especially some behind the scenes kind of stuff that may not be just for the patrons, like they got to see other things. Oh, also my lighting video, my IKEA do-it-yourself lighting thing that I put up this weekend went over pretty well. I tried to get as in-depth as possible in what I was doing so that people could follow it a little bit easier.
That was a really good video. I'm probably going to order some of those lights.
Yeah, they're worth it. I think when my next YouTube paycheck comes in, I'll probably do the next set of shelves because I'll be able to afford that. Just those lights. That's it. And I have actually redone my Power Ranger shelf. I've moved some stuff off of it. Now the Ninja Turtles are actually on their own instead of mixed in with the random Power Ranger stuff. But I do have 5 more Power Rangers figures sitting in my cart at Big Bad Toy Store because I've always wanted them. And might as well pick them up now before they're never available again.
Yeah. Now I'm curious what you're getting.
It's the In-Space Rangers.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like that would be the last. Yeah. Other than the Ninja Storm, that's the last line that I don't have that I'm interested in from the Bandai world. But now I'm really starting to consider getting more into the Lightning collection. mostly because I kind of want to build out a. Since Lord Draken is a thing now in this collection, I kind of want to build it out as a comics shelf.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So the old ones would be like the show. The Lightning collection would be the comics, considering Draken is canon to the comics, obviously not to a show as of yet. Arturo J. Briano, hello. But yeah, my money's going to be fairly well diversified, especially considering that there's another Omega Supreme I really want. But I'm considering selling off some of my older Transformers and a few other figures just to kind of clear out some of the crap that I've got and like separate it out, like have a more concise collection of things. So
yeah, it's always good to keep your collection focused.
Yeah, and
otherwise you end up with a mess.
A mess, yeah. Oh, by the way, guys, speaking of mess, go over to Rodimus 13's channel from last week, where we actually cleaned up, reorganized his room to a big degree. We spent a very long day going through his shelf space, which, by the way, go subscribe. Link in the description down below. We did a lot of work. I had to push him basically with a big stick all day long. Throw it away. Throw it away. Throw it away. It is legit like an episode of Hoarders. And I even, as I shared it the other day, I called it Plastic Hoarders. Not trying to make fun of him because we all have that problem, but it's helping a friend realize that it's time to let things go.
Yeah,
and make things better for yourself.
You would probably have to do the same thing for me if you were here.
Hey, if you fly me up there, I will definitely help you straighten your shit out. I'll even help you build some IKEA shelves.
Ooh,
I'm good at that. It's like, if you see my videos, I basically build my Detolfs, my Billies, and wire everything up on my own. It's like I never have help. Oh yeah, Beastbox. I forgot my Beastbox Trident review went up as well. People seem to really dig that. Everybody likes a little lobster that turns into a cube, or crawfish. I prefer him as a lobster. If you see him as a crawfish, that's on you. I do know that one dude who lives in Louisiana wanted to know where he could buy one, so I sent him the link because he lives in Louisiana. It's like his spirit animal. He wants to keep it on his desk. I'm like, go fucking buy you a Trident, man.
I think down there they call them mud bugs.
Yeah, people do refer to them as mud bugs, crawfish, crawdads. Yeah, he even said that I want Beastbox figures because of that. Dude, Beastbox is awesome, and they got an alligator. The spider one is coming soon, but they announced the black version of the spider. That's what I was talking about in that video. I couldn't remember what it was. I just knew that was coming. I still want Ice Cube because it's a cute little 4-pack of penguins. They do have the panda. I'm gonna buy you the panda and send it to you.
Oh, you're gonna buy me the panda? Oh my gosh.
It's like $20. I'll send it to you.
I
know panda is your spirit animal, essentially. From a particular person, at least.
Well, I mean, it's because they're very stupid.
They're too dumb to reproduce.
Yeah,
they really are. They're more interested in eating something that gives them no nutrition than actually having sex. So they are millennials. They're just thousands of years ahead of millennials. They're endangered because they're too stupid to live, but they're cute, so we make them live.
That's basically it. I mean, and that wraps up my entire relationship with Jane.
And the African white rhino is now considered extinct because the final male died. Oh. So we still are keeping fucking pandas alive. White rhinos, well, sorry. We'll have to crossbreed them from now on with elephants.
That'd be awesome.
Let's not do that. We're already still trying to clone mammoths. They're still trying to clone mammoths. How would one buy Transformers from me? Hit me up on Facebook. We'll talk. Like Beastbox series. I love Mudbug design, but plastic scares me. I already mentioned, even though it's translucent, it is super solid. Nothing is thin. The parts that have to move aren't translucent. And everything is pinned really well, and everything has enough give in it. Usually with translucent, the reason it gets brittle and stuff is because it's on a moving part that have to like flex. These things are built with enough flex in mind because they are transforming. So everything's reinforced fairly well. I mean, a good bit of them have translucent, and I've had them for a while, and it's not a problem. Toy Galaxy did a collection downsizing episode. Oh my god, I couldn't even imagine what Toy Galaxy did. I'm feeling here to gut my Michael Bay stuff. Go with that urge. At least they don't actively eat poison like koalas. This is also true.
Koalas are like
but it's not poison to them.
Yeah,
they get high off of it. They spend all day blitzed out of their minds, and that's why they nap when they're not eating, because they're just high as shit. And of course, not to downplay the terrible things that are happening in Australia. You know, billions of animals killed just in fires, thousands upon thousands of acres. And having lived through some pretty bad wildfires here in Texas, you know, I can't even imagine what they're going through, because it's even bigger.
So some of the fires are under control, but now they're facing a lot of flooding.
Yeah, they had the flooding because they finally got some seasonal rain, but because the fire has gone through and basically there's nothing there to slow the water down, and it's so dry, it's not absorbing quickly, it's just turning into flash floods. Yeah, that's what happens in California every fucking year. So it's like they go from being on fire to being covered in mud and water within a week.
Yeah.
It's a bad joke.
It's nature is cruel.
Greta Thunberg is going to fix it all.
Let's not go there, because it'll be a fight.
I know. So I'm picking on you. I like that she said we're going to plant 1 billion trees, and that's a good start. Thanks for downplaying any efforts we have, because nothing's good enough for you. But we're not going there. Let's see here. That figure also uses less clear, more resilient material that isn't brittle. Gold plastic is also nerve-wracking. Also, GPS is nowhere near as bad as it used to be back in the old days. You know, you're talking about like 2004, 2005 gold plastic versus now. Totally different formulas.
90s gold plastic.
90s gold plastic. Or chrome. Some 90s chrome. It's basically lead-based paint.
Yeah.
In the 80s, it was lead-based paint.
Man, all those transmetal figures from Beast Wars.
Mm-hmm. Flake metal.
Transflaky. I had
Speaking of which,
exclusive rat trap, which was in like a really cool blue, but man, flakes like almost all of it off.
There's a Optimal Optimus and a depth charge at a comic book store I know, and they're in good shape, but I don't have that kind of money.
Oh my gosh.
All right, so guys, that's enough chit chat. We got 15 people watching. I'm just uprating one. It says 14. I'm just giving credit to the person it's not showing me. All right, so back to the whole reason we do this. I want attention. So episode 3, Edouard, I left the O out. Edouard and Sayla. And what's that little symbol? I don't know what that is, or how that's supposed to be taken.
For which?
It's like over the O. Like it's not like an umlaut or something. I don't know what that is.
It's actually supposed to be pronounced Edouard.
Edouard?
Because it's like you drop the R completely, because it's French. They always like to drop the last consonant when they're actually pronouncing something.
It's French?
Yeah, Edouard.
That's odd. Okay. There we go.
Even though they're living in Spain. So
yeah, don't jump ahead.
Sorry,
I was reading comments because I saw something here. Hold on. Painted my HGUC Phoenix Gundam with a Gundam marker. Oh, I'm so sorry. Don't do that. It's just gonna be nasty in a while. Undo that. Just go buy real paint. I know, because I've got several of SDs down there completely painted in Gundam marker gold. Well, that's notice. I still hate you for making me work this hard on this kit. Shut up, Eric. He's building a Musha.
Oh.
And he's trying to one-up me, so he hates me for pushing him to up his game. I think I mentioned that to you the other day.
Yeah.
Man, you could breathe on 80s gold plastic and a legit chance of it disintegrating now. Yeah. Well, just take 80s plastic almost in general. You wanted Daika. Anthony Aiello, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. My universe repugnance still broke here and there. Ooh, that's not good. Yeah, that thing. Okay, so today's summary. Sadness. I don't know if that's really sadness. This is actually a lot of big good stuff happened in this episode. I mean, one bad thing, but you know. So as we open up, we are now on Earth, the final frontier.
Wait,
What?
space is the final frontier.
Not for space noids.
Fair. Go on.
So it starts out, pan down from the sky. I believe it shows the moon. And the guitar intensifies, as one does in Gundam. But it actually makes sense because we're actually in Spain this time. It's like totally makes sense why there's that. And Artesia is helping out a bunch of sick people in what looks like to be like a Red Cross type of tent. Clearly, like refugees. They're definitely darker skin, and they're in Spain. So I mean, I know that Spain is definitely full of white people and slightly darker people, but these look like people from like Africa or somewhere else. I don't think they even really mention where they're technically from, but I'm sure in universe there's an explanation. Oh, Anthony's been moving, so he's been busy. Okay. But they're thanking her for helping them, and they're speaking about how she's super mature for like a 10-year-old who could actually be out there helping people. But they're also like, "Oh, you're 10? Wow." So definitely showing off that some years have passed. But her hairstyle still exactly the same.
Of course.
Girl knows a classic when she sees it. And they point off at the castle in the distance. She said, "Oh, you're from there? You must be a princess." Yeah, she is a princess, just not from any castle you've heard of. And then we go immediately to intro. I think it's almost like not even a 30-second pre-roll. It's insane. Like cold open intro. Okay. But they just wanted to introduce that, hey, we're on Earth now and time has passed without having it just on the screen, whatever year, what would that be? 0072 or something like that. Maybe a little bit later. Because the series technically starts in
I think it's 71.
Okay. Yeah, because they never show you. That's one thing about the show. They never tell you.
Yeah.
And I have to go back and compare, but I think this intro actually does include some newer stuff. Like they're not showing off everything that happened before. It's like stuff in this episode. I think they always usually use the intro to break down like the next couple episodes, just in like a quick thing. So yeah. And they get a nice close up, and it's actually a very nice looking castle, very Spanish design as well. So I like that they did that. She comes running in, yelling to her father that she's back, which is real confusing because her father's dead and in space. And you see some very fancy people sitting there having a discussion, and a lady in the crazy hat is asking, "Is that the girl that we've heard about?" And he said, "Yes, that's her. Fat dude with a mustache, whoever the fuck that is." But she actually, Artesia runs up to a maid in the background, and she said, "What are you doing? You can't just run in here. It's like you have to get disinfected first if you come in from the camps." Okay, so there's like, I guess, legit like refugee camps out front with a bunch of sick people. So I kind of want to see the story there without having to go look it up. Can we actually? Is that like in the movie part? Because you've seen the movies, right?
I've seen the movies. It's not in there. It's not in the manga either. It's just
so it's just some unexplained.
Yeah, it's just happening.
Calamity.
Well, it's like presumed that because the Earth is so like
it's toxic.
Up,
that's right. That's
yeah,
right.
It's toxic.
But like, it's funny, the Space Marines talk about how Earth is so screwed up. It's toxic. Everybody chose to leave to go to space because it was safer. But we're shown like beautiful countryside, crystal clear blue skies, and things like this. Is like, so there's clearly parts that are more screwed up than others. If I had to guess, they don't want to catch the poor.
It's mostly. Oh my god. And it's mostly it started from the Earth, the equator, and moved outward, like north and south from there, and it's just like a dead zone.
Yeah, I figured that's they definitely look like some more equatorial type people.
Yeah,
because usually people with more melanin in their skin tend to be in the sunnier parts of the world.
Yeah,
it's called genetic protection. But yeah, basically the fat guy is her new father. Then her adopted Earth dad. That's what he was brought up here. And then it just cuts to her jumping into the pool. Cool. There's one thing about this show is it very quickly transitions from one thing to another with no in between. It's just like talking pool, because
Well, I mean, it's what she was running for. She was
I
running for
guess
the
if that
pool.
was her quote unquote disinfecting routine, like jump in the pool of
Chlorine.
well, yeah, I was thinking hand sanitizer. I couldn't think of the word. But either way. But I guess if you've been cleaning up sick people all day, why not go for a swim in your pool in your castle? You spoiled. Never mind. Also, y'all are perverts. She's 10. Stop having those thoughts.
So
Stop it.
So I have to say something.
Yeah.
Sayla is my waifu.
Not this
So it's-
Sayla.
Well, it's the same Sayla. It's like watching her old home movies, her own old tragic home movies.
Yeah, if somebody was recording how shitty the life was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So wait, is that why you said they should do Sayla first if they ever do a figurized Gundam girls like that?
Yeah.
Because she's your waifu and you must
Yes.
have. Water looks so sparkly too. Very. No
It's
pour in that
super-
pool.
It's
But that hair, yeah, her hair is perfect even after getting out of the pool.
Well, yeah.
Space Noid hair. Wouldn't her hair react differently to be under real gravity though?
Lots of hairspray, dude.
I mean, technically speaking, do they have the bone density to really live on Earth no problem? Since they're born in a false gravity environment. We're not talking about the there's probably a longer conversation there.
There's a long conversation there.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good comment, Jury. Hold on, I'm putting that on the screen. You should be able to see it. Yeah. Especially when you're 37 when you say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but at this point, like we now know her name is Sayla, not Artesia. I've heard the name Sayla and I've seen her before, but obviously not ever watching original Gundam. I'm unfamiliar with the character. Being introduced to her literally at the beginning of her story is actually interesting for me.
Okay.
It's like somebody watching the prequels and then the original Star Wars trilogy, watching Star Wars in actual chronological order instead of release order is what this is for me, basically.
So I will never have the opportunity to experience the origin before the original series. So I'm going to be curious are you going to continue on to the original series after this?
No. Unless they do like an updated deal. Like if they spent the time and effort to redo to some degree the original Gundam with origin animation, maybe less CG, lower the budget potentially, but if they did that, I would definitely be interested in watching it for sure.
So they'll never do it until all the original staff and like the big names on the original staff are dead.
Yeah. Anthony brought up the whole IBO Martians going to Earth. Yeah, they don't really cover that enough either. They wouldn't be able to really move around at all, and they would probably die because their hearts wouldn't be strong enough to pump their blood around their bodies. But then again, they are all slightly altered people, so nanites can do all kinds of fun stuff. But Casval, here's her dive into the pool, and a much older and uglier Jimba is trying to teach him everything he needs to know about the history of his father and his ideology and all the stuff he came up with for new types, and then going on and on about how he's basically like a prophet, and like most other prophets weren't really accepted in their time except by smaller following or people, like he's like space Jesus kind of, but not Aeolus Schimberg lovers.
Insane. Jim Barral is insane.
He is insane, but he's not wrong. We've discussed Jimba. He's crazy, but he's not wrong.
Right.
That's the problem. He's fanatical and he's eccentric.
Yeah.
And he's also lost his entire way of life and somebody he worshipped, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got a right to be old and crazy. But I like how Kosov just like what and it's like he just doesn't give a shit about what he's being told. But then when Jimba's like, "Are you listening?" He's like, "Oh yeah," just like as a kid. And I like how they're still using the same voice actor, right, from Char, the original one. But he
No,
have
no,
to,
no, no.
or is this a different guy?
So, it's the same guy who did Full Frontal in
Oh yeah.
yeah, but
That's right. I remember.
none of the original cast from the English dub of the original series is
Okay,
involved.
so he's doing a good imitation,
It's pretty good, yeah.
but he also has to pretend to be
Younger.
But
Yeah.
It's only been 3 to 4 years, somewhere in that amount of time. And after basically listening to Jimba go on and on about the same shit day in and day out, because how many times could he tell him the same thing? Like, it's been like almost 4 years. You would have gone over this already, multiple times. And then while the old man is ranting, Sayla's down in the pool. She just kind of floats up to the surface and almost does like the dead girl staring at the sky thing. But then, oh yeah, he goes on and on about how new types will change humanity and how all this things. And he's not wrong once again. But sounds insane, and he can't say things quietly.
No, he's very loud.
Very loud.
He screams. He's ranting. He's raving.
He might be deaf.
So, he was talking about how, the zombies offed Zeon Daikun.
Yes.
By feeding him poison slowly over time or whatever.
Yeah. Until his heart was too weak. Yeah.
It's never explicitly stated that the zombies actually poisoned him.
But they definitely killed him.
Not to be a zombie apologist.
Go on.
But
as you have the flag behind your head.
But I'm just saying, Mr. Daikun, all due respect, was a bit of a lunatic, and who knows, probably a raving alcoholic, probably had a bad heart from all of that stuff, probably did a lot of drugs in his younger days too.
Yeah, but as previously discussed, the zombies are the Space Lannisters, so they definitely would kill somebody to gain more power. And basically, they were second fiddle to him. But if they take his ideals, and also take his power and blame him dying on the people that they need to be at war with, they're gonna do it. Everything about it makes more sense that they did kill him.
But Zeon and Daegwin were very close friends. Is it any wonder that he would, of course, take the death of his best friend and turn him into a martyr for a cause? I mean,
yeah, he did it with his son, so why not?
Yeah, but I don't think they actually killed him.
They killed him.
Anyway, we can go on.
They may have killed him twice.
They might have killed him twice.
And then, more or less, took his children and wife hostage. Well, not wife, mistress. Sorry. As I learned last time, she was technically his mistress.
Originally his mistress. They did get married.
Well, he was still technically married to his first wife, seemingly. Because when I looked it up, I didn't see anything about them actually getting divorced.
Could be one of those countries where they allow multiple marriages.
Space polygamy.
Yep.
Yay! What's up, Sean? I see you there. It's those New Age mercury pills. Makes sense. I still think Giran knew Cassilia killed Sasuro and didn't give a crap. Does he seem like he cares at all about anyone? Like, I mean, honestly, we'll get to him here in a bit, but so basically, back to Sayla, she starts climbing out of the pool and it's like holding her head. She definitely doesn't feel good and even says, "What's wrong with me?" And I love this because at this point, I'm writing this as I'm watching it. So this is what my notes said. Back to the fat guy and the stuffy lady. Oh, apparently his name is Don Tiabolo. So, and I do like how they do exposition right. They pass it off as not just exposition dumps and things like that. Like, who is this guy? Oh, he's Don Tiabolo. Oh, he's the one who adopted them. it's in passing conversation and just kind of going on.
Yeah.
It's not 100% your focus on the screen. They're not holding the camera, staring directly into it and saying, you need to know this. So apparently he donated land to this lady for whatever reason. Obviously, super rich guy, probably owns a lot of shit and does things for political gain, but also seems to be super nice. So there's that. She's a high commissioner of something. I didn't write it all down, but it is what it is. They drive away. And then I wrote this down, but then of course I realized it's not exactly what it seems. So what it clearly looks like, a caravan of bad guy cars rolls up. It rolls past, I should say. But seemingly, come to find out, that's actually not technically bad guys. Yeah, I guess it's people from Anaheim coming to visit Jimba.
They're bad guys.
From a certain point of view.
Get through more of the Universal Century. They're bad guys.
I get it. But usually when it's a caravan of black cars, as we actually see later on in the series, with the actual bad guys,
yes,
which are the same kind of cars. So I guess they just universally make these cars for rich people or politicians.
Well, Anaheim Electronics is a military-industrial complex.
Yes, I know. So they even make just cars for people to drive around in that clearly aren't explosion-proof. So Jimba ranting again about Dakin being poisoned.
Their cars come pre-rigged with bombs, but go ahead.
Just in case. And they just give you the code to, blow up whoever you need to.
Yeah.
But there's a bomb under each seat, so you can definitely kill only the one person if you're going for that. I also like that I wrote here, just because he's right doesn't mean we aren't tired of hearing about it. And I'm sure that's exactly what Casval feels as he's sitting there being yelled at by this fucking crazy old man. And then Sayla interrupts him, telling she doesn't feel good. Casval jumps up. Oh, good! Distraction. She does have a fever. I do love that he is a caring older brother, even though he definitely, when he was younger, looked like he was mostly out. He was just always in a bad fucking mood when he was younger. But clearly the weight of his position has always been on him, even at what was he, 11 at the beginning of this. And so, I think it's a cold. It's all good. And this is where I brought up the fact it's not even been quite 4 years, which means he's 14 or 15 in this moment. And he's like double her height. I was like,
he really shot up.
Yeah, he shot up, or she hasn't grown a lot. But he takes her to go get some medicine and lay down or whatever. And Jimba keeps calling her Artesia, and she's like, no, my name is Sayla Mass. Which also I didn't realize that Tiabola's name is Tiabola Mass. I was just like, where did they get Mass from? Then it's the family name. I just didn't realize that. But I wrote down, I'm trying to figure out, because she stays Sayla Mass for just from now on, right?
Yes.
In the series.
Yes.
Given that she's still young and a bit odd, is it a learned response? Like she's just like, no, call me Sayla. I'm not Artesia anymore. Or is she actually believing now that this is, I am Sayla, not I'm Artesia anymore. I am Sayla.
No, she knows her identity.
Okay.
Like, she knows who she is.
But she's just making sure, because once again, I don't know this. I'm just bringing up these points.
Yeah. No, she's definitely been educated. We can't use our real names anymore. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you came from. But we're in hiding. Yeah,
because she keeps calling him Edward.
Yeah.
So she definitely knows that. But I like how the old man didn't get a different name. I'm sure somebody calls him something different in public.
You'd think.
If they ever let him out. I have a feeling he's usually locked in that tower.
I'm pretty sure he's going crazy from not going anywhere.
Oh, yeah. Here, there's bad guys and worse guys. We're the Vist Foundation. Fucking Vist. Concubines. There we go.
Concubines.
I don't know exactly where he was going with that, but okay, he just yells concubines. And then he's just going on about, it's nice to watch kids grow up and stuff like that, but sometimes it's fucking annoying. He doesn't actually say that, but he's going to, until the butler tells him that they've arrived, or he's arrived. And he's like, oh, they actually came. As expected. And then I was real confused about this at first. There's once again, time skip, situation skip, and the cars are driving away and it's dusk.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait. And then you're overhearing a conversation between him and, well, you don't know at that particular moment who he's talking to. So, like, when I watched it again, I'm like, wait a minute, did they take him somewhere? And then he's having this conversation. Then I realized, no, they've had their conversation. They've left, and now this is the aftermath of him having this conversation with Anaheim. And Don Tiabolo is really angry, super upset that he basically got a hold of Anaheim, set up this meeting, and all this stuff behind his back. And he's like, you can't go off doing all this shit on your own. You should have gone through me, because frankly, it probably wouldn't have happened if he went through him. But he also probably would have been a hell of a lot more secretive about it. But as the cars drive away, we see what definitely aren't bad guys. Those are not bad guys. But basically, Jimbo was trying to get with Anaheim to mount a counteroffensive on side 3. You want to take it back from the zombies, right? But basically, Tiabolo says, look, this is pointless. Why do you keep doing this? And he replies, we'll never know unless we try. Anaheim said they would give us their full backing, weapons, funding, lobbying with key officials, and more importantly, we have the children of Dakin on our side, And it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, this is just stupid. This is like, while it sounds great, it would never work, essentially.
Yeah. So, okay, here's what's really interesting about Anaheim Electronics.
Yeah.
Is so they make military weapons. We know this.
As we see.
At this point, they are not supplying Zeon.
No.
Because they have their own company called Zeonic, and then they also have Zimmernd.
Okay.
Which they compete in mobile suit design throughout the 1 year war later on, which is not part of the original series. This is all stuff you have to read about if you want to actually know about it. It's like all those weird details they come up with after the fact. But yeah,
building.
Yeah, Anaheim doesn't actually sell weapons to Zeon until
later,
after they lose the war.
Irony. Well, that's how you get wars to keep going.
Yes.
You let them lose first with their own tech, and then you say, hey, we know that our tech beat you. Would you like to be able to beat them now?
Yeah, that's pretty much
basically how it goes, right? Yeah. But we actually we get a very quick cutaway of Caswell taking care of Artesia. I'm not going to call them by their new names just yet. It may have been years for them. It's only been a week for me.
Fair.
But he said, the people will flock to our side when they see the fine young people these kids have grown into. The zombies' power base is weak. Right? Sure it is. It's like, no, their power base is exactly as strong as they want it to be.
Yeah. They have all of Moonzo on their side.
Yeah. And so Tiabolo says, Edouard and Sayla are my children. It's true. I typed it wrong. I kept misspelling Sayla. Like, I kept putting the L in the wrong spot. And I was like, damn it. Backspace. They're my children. Yeah, I said, dude, he's taking this super seriously, which I guess he should be. But I also had the thought, it's like, what if this didn't happen this way? What if Dipshit had never contacted Anaheim and maybe somebody often otherwise, and the kid just stayed there and grew up in this nice, rich Spanish household, like, and stayed safe? Like, how would the UC have been altered, you know?
I think Jim Baral's raving lunatic teachings had already at that point solidified in Castle's mind that he's going to get revenge.
Hell, it wasn't it wouldn't even take like extra ranting. He was set on that at 11.
Yeah, he
I
already
mean, like
he hated the zombies from the get-go.
he told Cassilia that it's, you know, I'm gonna come back here
While he's in handcuffs.
well, yeah, it's like he's a badass at that age. It's kind of ridiculous, but you gotta wonder if there was ever a thought that maybe they could stay there and have a peaceful, good life.
The war would have happened either way.
The war was going to happen, but I'm saying, what would the differences be if those two characters, which are pretty key, you know, didn't get involved in any way, shape, or form? Or what if the murder was successful? That they did kill them, and as we're going to see, they do attempt to do. But basically, Jimba's like, "Hey, this was only a temporary arrangement. You know, they're only your kids until we need them to go back to being who they are. You know, it's like I'll never let you claim them as your own." And Tebow is like, "You know what? If you feel that way, you can just get the fuck out and take your crazy schemes elsewhere." And you know, and basically, if you try that and the kids definitely agree, I'll let them go and we'll just pretend all of this never happened. And, you know, anything you've got, you won't have anymore, you know? And Jimbo's like, oh, wait, no, well, we can't do that. No, wait. He's such a fucking pussy at that point. And it's like a lot of big talk.
A lot of big talk. And he has like the tiniest stick.
Yeah. And he said, you know, even with Anaheim on their side, you know, or with Anaheim on their side, they could have a better chance or likely win. Irony. Then this is, of course, when we do get the shot of the Anaheim factory, which is pretty cool. Basically saw what looked like a core fighter. I assume you know what it was.
I don't think it was a core fighter. I think it was a silverfish, is what they call it.
I said it looked like.
Yeah.
So it was the same basics of a core fighter.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a fighter jet.
Yeah, it's definitely a fighter. And then we see some of the tanks getting built. And it's more gun tanks. Love me some Origin gun tanks. I love that even this far into it, they're still building the same shit. Although the tanks look updated, I'll say that.
They do look updated, but at the same time, like they don't really have a reason to upgrade anything.
No, they don't. I mean, there's not gigantic things going on and not a whole lot of competition. So, I mean, it's just they only need the same shit until because a Castle would be able to flamenco 3 times faster.
I love that.
That's funny. Actually, I'm just going to put that comment up. There we go. I think it's up. I can't see. Nope. I didn't hit the button. There it goes. Because if you guys don't know, I have my notes pulled up here instead of wasting paper this week. And Jimba says, he's like, look, I still want to gamble. And he's crying at this point, which you do feel bad for the guy. He has lost everything.
Everything. His entire family house is just gone.
And basically he said, look, I just want to keep some hope, And, he wants revenge. If nothing else, he does kind of want power back. And I'm sure he probably misses his son to some degree. And clearly, Don Tibola is done with this bullshit. And he's definitely giving him the side eye.
Yeah.
And now it's nighttime. Okay. I just love it. Just time skips.
The time skips throughout the day are like, crazy.
It's still the same day.
Yeah.
It's just like, they just skip. Like, dink. Okay, now it's 9 p.m. Probably. Sayla's writing a letter to her mom, which is all sweet. She's staring up at the moon. And now that she's a little older, a little bit more, has a little bit more realization about the world.
Yeah.
It says been 43 full moons since they left, and now they know that it's basically a month in between full moons.
Yeah. And
it's very cruel of her mom to have done that, but she actually looks on the bright side and says, "Look, it's 43, it's almost 50, which is halfway, and then I could finally get there." And by the time they do get to 100, she'll be much bigger, and her mom's gonna be so surprised, at how much she's grown. Casfall's taller than Jimba now, which I think Jimba's probably shrinking a little. Casfall's taller than too many people. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sick growth spurt, bud.
I don't know.
Legit turns into an episode of Scooby-Doo. Oh, it does. It does sort of turn into an episode of Scooby-Doo after this. It's kind of funny. A very violent episode of Scooby-Doo. It's like the Scooby Natural episode. Now, there's something right here, and I wasn't sure how this was supposed to do. So she says that Castle taller than Jimba, Mr. Tia de Bolo has gained even more weight, and then she says he's like, and then stops. Now, I assume that's because she passed out or something happened, and we know that she got sick. But I just want to know what the rest of the sentence was.
I'm not sure. I think she was gonna say he's like. I don't think she would have compared him to her actual dad, because they're very different people.
Yeah, he was tall and slim. I think she was gonna say he's getting fuller like the moon.
Oh, that would make a lot of sense.
As she's staring up at the full moon.
Since, that was the focus of her letter originally.
Yeah. Then she gets majorly sick again, and they call a doctor in, got her hooked up to machines, monitors, and stuff like that. Everybody's standing around, and we get our beautiful thumbnail for this episode.
I love what you did with the thumbnail.
Okay, so the fact that Thomas got sick made it so easy to know what the thumbnail was going to be.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. My issue with it, though, is that now whenever I think of my precious waifu, I'm going to think of Thomas.
Just think of her with a mustache.
and her hair pulled back.
I had to continue the trend of me putting their hair on us.
Yeah.
To some degree. And for those who miss it, I'm the nurse who's taking the vitals. Originally, I was trying to be Tiabolo, but I couldn't get the right angle. But I made you Rawl because I had to include him in the thumbnail.
Which that's going to be my profile picture on Twitter.
Yes, so that'll be funny. So everybody surrounding her, doctor's checking out. And this is the second time that they've said that it's probably just a cold. And to me, when you said it more than once, it means it's not that thing.
Right.
So it's never just a cold. In the same way, it's never lupus.
Is that a house reference?
It's a house reference because if he was there, he would have taken approximately 7 days to figure out what's wrong with her, run her through a battery of tests, but then she'd be miraculously figured out. And he would have deduced that, that Cosfall was a new type just by standing around him. Actually, he wouldn't even be standing around him. He would have interacted him with one time in a hallway. He would have threatened him, and then he would have had the miraculous, I know what's wrong with her. But, he said, the doctor says that if she came into contact with people from the camp, which we know she's basically been down there treating people.
Yeah.
It could be Sahara fever, once again, leading to the idea these are probably African refugees to some degree. So I don't know if Sahara fever is a real disease or this is a UC thing.
Yeah, I have never heard of it. I do know that Africa was one of the regions of the world. It's a continent, not a country.
Yeah.
But Africa was in dire straits from not only environmental stuff, but economics. It was a waste.
Civil wars, more than likely, all kinds of uprising. I mean, I think in most Gundam series that are, real Gundam series, Africa is generally a very active area of the world. Definitely that kind of chunk, like the Northern Africa area, generally fairly active, especially the oil nations.
Well, yeah, in Universal Century, it's mostly it switches occupations quite a bit. Zeon gets a good chunk of it.
Yeah, of course.
Before the middle of the war, and because there's a lot of resources there. However, because the environment is so harsh, people are just fleeing the area. So
Just get out there. Yeah.
so all those resources are there for the taking because there's no one there working the land.
Makes sense. Yes, House is more than likely a new type.
Yeah, probably.
More than likely. Is House a new type? Only on this show do things like this happen.
House
but,
Gundam crossover. I want it now.
Yes. Oh god, can you imagine if House was working on White Base? If he had to deal with Bright as his administrator.
You haven't watched the original series. You can't make that comment.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But anyway, they said they'll keep an eye on her. Caswell says he'll stay with her till morning. Then there's a big red moon. So that means people are gonna die because of symbolism.
It's a blood moon.
What is a real Gundam series? We're not going into that right now.
A real Gundam series?
Yeah.
Let's see. All of the series that are Gundam series are actual Gundam series.
Yeah. And when we say real, we mean in the storytelling style of a Gundam centric series. Like Build Fighters, Build Divers, I don't consider those real Gundam series in the same way because they're not taking place in a Gundam universe. They're outside of those universes looking in. In a show where Gundam is fiction, that doesn't count in that same manner to me.
That's fine. That's fair.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people think that way. I'm one of the very few people who is like, if it has Gundam in the title, I love it, and it's part of the Gundam world, and it's a Gundam series.
Yeah. Well, I just mean when I say real, that's what I mean.
No, I get you. Yeah. If it's not presenting mobile suits as like a real world thing in the world it's building, I get you.
Yeah, because in those worlds, Gundam isn't real. That's what I mean in the literal sense of it being a real Gundam series. It's not knocking those kind of series. It's just that, in a world where Gundam is fiction.
Yeah.
I'm explaining to them, not you. I understand you get it.
I once, a group of friends and I had a theory when Build Fighters was first airing that it was all a simulation and they were actually going to recruit people at the end of the series to fight in an actual space war that's going on. But it didn't.
Are you thinking Last Starfighter?
Yeah, kind of. It didn't work that way though. It's not what happened. Of course not.
Doozy Bots is definitely not a Gundam series.
Doozy Bots is the best Gundam series.
I don't know what the fuck Doozy Bots is.
Oh my god, I'm gonna show you later. I don't
want to. With their creepy metal mouths and lips under faceplates. It's funny. It's a series where characters are named just to be killed off. Oh yeah, you gotta know who you're killing. But we see Casval sitting there, falling asleep next to Sayla, and the dogs are barking at something. And then things fade, goes to black, and the dogs stop barking. Well, we already know what happened there. They just put them to sleep, right?
They gave them steak.
Oh, okay. So they were just busy chewing.
Yes.
Okay.
Quietly chewing.
I'm just glad they didn't kill them or something.
Right. That'd be awful if someone just killed the dogs so they'd stop barking.
Yeah. Machine guns. Silence the dogs so you can just come in shooting machine guns. Very covert.
So covert.
So covert. I feel like the theory of the Build Fighters is Valhalla. That Raul gets a good life.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but he dies in that world, sort of.
In
reality,
in Build Fighters, you mean like
dies.
Well, yeah, the
Mako dies.
The voice actor, yeah.
That's why it matters. That's why it matters. God damn it!
I want to say that I know they come in blazing with machine guns, and you're like, that's not covert at all. Without getting too far ahead of what happens next, it's something happened that was really covert.
Yeah, I guess that's true because the thing that's unexplained but makes sense at the same time.
Yeah.
Now, this question or this statement here on the screen. I don't know how that. No, they're real, but they're not real at the same time because they're kind of projections of a fictional thing. It's a weird having a fictional thing be brought to life makes it weirder.
They are real to unreal people, to unreal characters.
No, they're real characters.
Yeah, well,
they're real living beings.
The furries?
Yeah.
Are they?
Did you not see the finale?
No, I get it, but like if
they're real, they all of it actually is happening for real. But
so
the Gunpla are somehow being projected into reality on that planet somehow.
So, okay. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
I know we're not talking about the series, but
okay, hold on. Look at it this way. This is a way that Thomas and I discussed the technology that possibly created them. It's think of it as the holodeck combined with a transporter or a or well, I guess in reality a replicator. So imagine that projecting real people, so to speak, who are digitized through a replicator.
The way they tried to bring Moriarty out of the holodeck, I get it.
Yes, yeah, but no. But Moriarty was still a hologram,
right?
But imagine if they combined hologram technology with replicator technology to actually make a real and transporter technology. So all three things blended together to make a real living life form that could just be turned back into data is basically what they did for Build Divers Re-Rise on that planet. That's why battles left stuff behind. So whenever they lost something from their projection, it was left behind as a real thing. So imagine them not as data, but as something being truly created and then being broken down back to data when not in use.
So here's the only thing that has any semblance of like real world to me in that series is how what's his name, main character,
why you ask now? Hiroto.
So he gets the head injury. That's the only thing. Everything else could still be like some sort of off-world server.
Now the reason why that we're way off base here, but
I know
the reason that didn't make as much sense is because it actually because his physical body is not leaving the Gundam base. His mind is leaving. No, it isn't, because we see him in the game still sitting there while playing the game. So his physical body isn't leaving. His mind is leaving.
Right.
And being downloaded into the game. And we already know that the sensory aspect, all of that was upgraded. So it's basically like a real living diving world like we would get in SOA. But they could do the same thing. So imagine your body was destroyed in SOA, but your mind still exists.
Yeah.
So, but you could find a fake body to download into so you could still be alive in the same manner. So imagine your mind, your soul was digitized for this game, and you're being projected to a new physical body that's being replicated every time you log in, and then being redigitized back and forth. Like something about
I get what you're saying.
I know, but I'm just saying in that world. But no, his argument that it's not a real series, it's not a real Gundam series in the same concept that it's still within it's a fictional world. You know, Gundam is still a fictional thing in the same manner. That's the only argument I would say for that as being a real Gundam series. Also, not the same structured kind of storyline necessarily, depending on where they go with it in the future.
Yeah,
but it's practically the Matrix. So yeah, it is the Matrix combined with other stuff. So yeah, why would you say something so controversial yet brave? That's funny. Are those Gundams hard light? No, those Gundams are being actually created. That's why there's still physical stuff left behind, unless he's just constantly projecting them.
I
But
still think it's still a digital world. But anyway,
it's
that's not what we're talking about.
it's really happening. But the thing is that they'll cover eventually how Alice is creating real things. I think it's alien. It's alien tech. It's alien tech crossing over into GBN.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Those are all the theories. But back to this series that we're talking about here. Guys come in. They have machine guns. They start killing all the people on the bottom floor. Joy.
Joy.
Kills all the help, which sucks. So Casval wakes up Artesia, calls her Artesia. He's not bothering with the Sayla bullshit in this man. And I feel bad at this point because the Don is just sleeping in his chair like a good old boy.
Yeah.
He fell asleep with a drink. And he's just woken up. What's that noise? And in walks a person in a whole freaking suit of armor.
Not like modernized armor, like a suit of medieval, like
legit
14th century Europe armor.
Yeah, which we had previously seen on display in the castle.
So that's where I'm like, something covert happened. How did you get into that armor without making any noise?
So somehow this person, well, mind you, not every bit of the giant castle is probably monitored at all times. Clearly, they don't have much of a security system or
Did
guards.
he get into it by himself? He had to have had help.
You have to have help. You can't get into them on your own. Adam Savage proves that.
Yeah.
So in theory, somebody snuck in there, got him into this armor. Because the first time I walked, it made no sense. I was like, why did this dude walk in here in armor? But as you brought up, clearly he was installed. And just been waiting for this moment, probably maybe for like a day or so, because nobody's going to sit there in that armor and not piss themselves at some point, you know? But basically he comes in there to go kill the Don, and somehow this half asleep fat bastard dodges this guy swinging a sword at him repeatedly. You know, he slices the chair, he goes to stab at him. Now, mind you, it's not the most mobile thing, but still.
He's the Don.
It's the Don.
Of course he can dodge a sword.
If he can dodge a sword, he can dodge a ball. So, and I got to figure out if this next part was purposeful or just sheer accident because of his panic. So he gets backed up against the window, and he's just and the guy with the sword is coming at him very slowly, like just kind of creeping, like, I'm gonna stab you. And the first time I saw this, I thought he pushed him through the window. The Don pushes himself through the window. He literally is pushing against it so hard that he goes through the window.
Yeah.
And then falls to the courtyard below. And the knight just comes out there like, oh, that was easy. And he's like, oh yeah, I gotta go kill them kids.
Yeah. Well, I don't think the Don was actually going to be a target, but he was there. And he was
It makes sense to kill him because he's still a guy in power who has been helping them. You got to kill. Why would they kill the help? Why not just wait till the moment where he could literally stand there and shoot the kids in the hallway, and then he's dead. Nobody knows what happened, and the kids are dead, or Jimba's dead. They could have really gone very covert and sneaky to kill the. I mean, it's possible. Maybe she was poisoned. If Jimba was around long enough, he probably would have started suspecting. Because unfortunately, he dies shortly after this. So they're trying to run down the staircase, and they see all the
heart with a sword
or gut, heart, gut, whatever.
It was up here.
But well, it's fine. But
anyway.
Kids try to run away. They realize, oh, we can't go that way, so we got to run back up. And then they hear the knight coming, and so they duck into a little alcove. And he's like, "Shut the fuck up." Where was Lucifer, by the way?
Where is the cat? Because that cat would have kicked their ass.
He has been shown, yes, he was shown after this, but not in this moment. Like, he's scared of people, so it's possible he ran away when he knew things were going on. And we know there's dogs, so maybe he just go whatever. But Lucifer could have stopped all of these guys.
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't stop Ramba and men. You know, his greatest victory when he captured Lucifer. He's gonna make that shirt.
I'll buy it.
Yeah. I still need to get you a hashtag nub shaming shirt.
Please do.
I still have the design, so it's fine. But either way, so the knight goes up, kills good old Jimba. How was this guy holding him up with one hand and stabbing him with the other? Or is it because he had him against a wall?
I think that's part of it, but also
because you don't realize he's against a wall until he slowly slides down it, which also doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But it looks like dude is just flat out holding him. And I thought for a minute, I'm like, wait a minute, who the hell is this guy that he's strong enough to? Well, he still would have to haul Jimba up with one arm, even holding him up in a suit of armor that isn't light.
Yeah.
Holding the old man by the neck and stabbing him through. So, I mean, at first I thought it was like, did Dozel come down to specifically kill Jimba? No is the answer, but that's where my mind went.
Yeah.
And then, sadly, the old man just bleeds out and dies, and he does a slow, and then show him in a pile of his own goo, basically. And then the Terminator turns around and says, okay, I still got to go find them kids. He is very much like the Terminator in this.
Yeah. Like he's unstoppable.
Just going room to room trying to find his targets, basically, while everybody else is just downstairs with a gun. When they're done killing everyone downstairs, why not help in the search to kill the final people? Many people with guns probably faster than one dude in a suit of armor and a sword.
You would think.
I assume that it's a poetic thing is really what they were going for with this, because we know the zombies do like some flair to their killing of other people.
Yeah.
That was a pun. They didn't pay enough to have those cars explode.
No, they didn't.
They don't get in cars. They only ride horses. That's a reference that I don't get. You killed my driver, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, watch the original series.
I will when they redo it with new animation.
Or you know what? Just watch the movies. Watch the compilation.
I could probably do that. I think they're remastering it again, right? For the 40th?
Not that I know of.
Yeah. Kill everyone, less interference. But noisy.
Yeah.
Machine guns. Silent the dogs. They didn't find the cat. Or maybe they did. Maybe that's what they were shooting at. That's what it is. They were trying to take down Lucifer.
You know what? That would make a lot of sense.
I want to see that. Where's that animation? Done in the same way they did when Rawl and company went to go get him. That weird, silly kitty animation. Maybe one of these artists in the subs can do that.
That'd be fantastic. I would commission that, actually.
Yeah. So the sequence that follows is basically Casval continuing to be a badass. So he just says, "Okay, well, we can't go downstairs. We got to go up the tower, because that's how you escape a castle, is go to the top of the tower." Which I think is a trope. I believe that's a trope from different movies and shit. We'll go up to the tower. But I guess everybody assumes that everyone is on the lower floors. They won't necessarily go to the highest tower to find the two people they're after. So he just fortuitously says, I'm going to snag the sword off the wall. Now, they did see the night before with the sword, so maybe he just thought, okay, we're probably going to run into him if we go this way.
Well, I mean, I would grab any weapon I could find.
Yeah. Some old sword on the wall on a coat of arms, which luckily wasn't decorative.
Right. Yeah.
Luckily that was a real sword, not a decorative thing. And so they run up the stairs and they run into, and I'm sure you saw my notes. They've lived in this castle for years now. They run into a construction zone they're unaware of. Like construction.
I'm assuming that this castle is very large. And
we know it is large.
Yeah. And part of it has always, they're always trying to repair and rebuild and all this stuff. So maybe they're in an unfamiliar part of the castle that they never go in because it's under construction. Why would they go there?
But he's surprised that there is construction. If you live there day in, day out, likely they don't go very far. I mean, even when she's helping the people in the camps, it's within visual range of the castle. And knowing that you are now the son and daughter of the owner of said castle, you think you would know that part of it is being worked on.
Yeah.
And I get middle of the night, people are trying to kill you. You're probably not thinking clearly.
Yeah.
Surprise night. Who got behind the construction signs without making a mess. What the fuck? Maybe there's more than one night. Maybe there was more than one.
I don't know. It's even hard to tell in the manga if there's more than one.
It does go very Scooby-Doo, let's just be honest. But there's no unmasking. Fortunately. I'm sure there was after this, assuming nobody cleaned up the bodies.
If they could get the sword out of his skull. Spoiler. Go on.
Well, realistically, comes after them. He actually manages to get away, does a few little maneuvers, and then they crash into the area that's being, fixed. And there's like scaffolding and whatnot, like you need to have for building up an ancient stone building. And at this point, this guy's just like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with him. So like he's got him on the back foot. Sayla screaming no once again, like she knows she's in an anime. She's older now, she still hasn't realized. But dude like starts kicking the railing and basically like trying to push the scaffolding around and scare them.
Which is the stupidest thing he could have done.
You're standing on it, stupid. What do you think? You think that armor is going to keep you? It's not Iron Man armor. It's going to hurt when you fall. Basically, it's just trying to terrify them, make them make stupid mistakes, And he goes to swing at Casval. He actually parries it like almost perfectly.
Yeah.
And then dude comes back and trying to stab at him and gets stabbed right through the fucking face. Like perfect shot, like in one of the slits of the helmet.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. But he is also Casval.
But here's the thing is they make a big deal out of this towards the end of the original series is that new types physically they're no different than other people. Like to do a skill that's like a physical skill, they still have to work at it.
Yeah, they have to learn it. It has to be a learned skill. So at some point he has done some sword fighting here.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. I figured that he's getting some kind of proper like high-end rich kid education, and if you can't go to public schools because you definitely have to fucking stay secret, you're gonna have people come to the castle to teach you the things you need because Jimba's only gonna keep yelling the same three lines.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if
he's the Dark Knight.
If when he was a child he had training in fencing, either he loses that skill later in life and not much later in life, or Amuro also got training in fencing, which we know he didn't.
Retcon.
Sure.
How many people forget skills they have when they need them, or miraculously have them when they need them?
Okay. I mean, I guess.
If Optimus Prime can forget that he has... God damn it. He forgets he can fly until he needs to fly into space and has a spaceship at his disposal. I'll give some credit to Castle occasionally forgetting he can fence, or Amuro knowing how.
Fine.
He's a noble. I wouldn't doubt Jimba taught him the sword. I don't think Jimba taught him. So I gotta be honest, I don't think it came from Jimba.
No.
Odds are he probably did know how to fight and stuff like that, because Ramba clearly knows how to fight, as we'll get to in a second. But our night guy is now dead, whoever the fuck he was. Kind of wish we knew. But we basically assume that the guys that we saw earlier outside the castle are the guys who did this.
Right.
The police are here. Oh, good. Going over dead bodies. Cool. Yeah, good for that. And they're like, oh, this must have been a hit. These guys don't look like whatever, This wasn't just like a simple crime.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, Shu, not Yamato, is it? Yashima. I knew it. I have it written down. I just wasn't looking at it at the time.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the fuck that is, but clearly it's important. Um, they say the CEO of Yashima is here.
Yeah, so he's not only very rich, but he's like really involved in the Federation government.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously don't go over that now, and you have to have watched, original Gundam to see this, but he is here to see Don Tiabolo, who is not dead. Who saw that coming?
You know what? Actually, I was so relieved when I first saw this and that he didn't die.
Yeah. I mean, I think somebody kind of needs to die on screen or be shown as dead. You can't just assume anymore.
Right.
So obviously they didn't check the kill. I mean, he's probably in a bloody mess on the ground. He just fell at least a couple stories,
and it's hard to tell what floor he was on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it didn't look super far from the perspective they kind of showed.
Yeah.
So presumably maybe second, third floor, which you can survive.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're that goddamn fat.
Dude,
and it's been proven. It is proven that thicker people they're softer. They have more
shock absorbent. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Never know when you're gonna fall out of a plane.
But the guy's name is Mass. And he has it. So they come to the point that because Jimba reached out to Anaheim, obviously the zombies figured that out. Or, duh. Stupid old man. This is why he said, you should have gone through me, because I could have kept the zombies probably for knowing it. But then again, they've been surveilling the castle for quite some time.
Yeah.
God knows how long.
They already knew they were there. It wasn't until he was like, I'm gonna fight him back. But they were like, yeah, we got to kill this guy now.
Yeah, they also needed a way in. Hey, I've fallen really far too and really messed up my tailbone, so I understand. It's comic book rule: if you don't see the body, they're not dead, and if you see the body, there's still 60% chance they'll be back. True, even if they're buried or burned or other things. But at this point, Shu's just basically like, look, we got to get you out of here. Let me take you guys to Loom, to Texas Colony. Fuck yeah, Texas Colony.
Yeah, it's okay.
For those who don't know, I live in Texas. But I am slightly offended that it was being built as a theme park and was then abandoned.
Yeah, it gets
I'm a little angry. I assumed that they were just creating an Old West style thing, judging by the big open sweeping plains that didn't necessarily look like Texas, if I'm honest. But either way, it's pretty cool. I just love the fact that there's just Texas down the side of this fucking colony. I want that, just up hanging in the house. But basically the whole plan is to move them there because, frankly, just being in proximity to Side 3 and to, Munzo and the zombies, basically just show, look, we're here. We're in your world. We're not going to fuck with you. We're just basically, we're in your universe, so we're definitely not going to try to oppose you next door.
We're in your backyard.
We're in your backyard, and it'd be foolish to try to attack you or make any plans or anything like that. I fell 3 stories when I was 12 and I'm still alive because 12-year-olds are, more bouncy. I have back problems. Yeah, makes sense. The only thing better than Texas is Space Texas. The only state that got its own fucking colony.
Well, I think and someone in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I think for Neo America, in G Gundam, because all the space colonies in G Gundam, if you haven't seen it, they're shaped like the countries. But I think it's just Texas for the United States.
Neo America is technically just Texas.
I think it is.
I like to think that in G Gundam, Texas was its own colony, much like Scotland in Doctor Who. So there's Starship UK, and I said, well, where's Scotland? they made their own spaceship. Of course they did. It's like they're like, this is our chance. We're gonna leave. Texas would definitely have its own colony.
I could see that.
Yeah, they're like, oh, thank God, we don't have to deal with this bullshit anymore. Texas is the Scotland of the U.S.
It's true.
Except the wars went differently. Well, we're not going there anyways. Continuing. But basically the old man agrees. Thanks him for doing that. And then he's like, oh, but sorry, I didn't mean to completely ignore my daughter sitting here because she's not important at all. His name's like Mirai something. No, don't have. I had to Google it, okay? I had to fucking figure out who she was. Clearly, I knew she was important to the original series. Yeah. You don't just name drop somebody, and she looks like she was drawn in 1979. So, yeah, obviously. So I looked it up. Now I know who she is, obviously, and how she has continual importance through the UC. You know, all the way up till the fucking Penelope with Hathaway's Flash.
Yes,
because she's Hathaway Noah's mother.
Yes,
from that series. So and obviously Hathaway's Flash is like not super far in the future. At least not from Unicorn, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I did look it up. I saw who she was. Obviously, if I watched the whole series, I would know that. But
I'm gonna keep pushing you.
Huh?
I'm gonna keep pushing you to watch it.
You can push all you like. But yeah, so she dabs the old man's tears away, stuff like that. He thanks her, and you know, you must be a bright, kind girl, and stuff like that. It's like that's a nice assumption for somebody who only just got up to wipe your tears away. I assume she is a good person, but in this moment, how would he know that?
Because, like, I mean, the act of wiping someone's tears is such like a.
Her name is Future. Nice.
It's such a personal and like very intimate gesture. Yeah. You know, I mean, to do that to someone that you just met, like,
no, yeah,
you're showing great respect. Yeah,
but I mean, they're already coming in here basically saying, "Look, you're gonna die if you stay here. Come with us. We'll set you up in Space Texas. You'll be fine."
Space Texas.
It's Space Texas. As long as there's no In-N-Out and only Whataburger in Space Texas. Just got the big fucking orange W over it.
No. It's a McDaniel's. Sorry.
Fucking McDaniel's. We were talking about that actually last night at the Gundam thing. Different versions of McDonald's that exist in other things.
But there's a McDaniel's.
Yeah. But no, I mean, we were actually talking about that. That's why it's funny that you said that. But what I actually wrote here for just those who are interested in the way I take notes and stuff, I said also we're introduced to Mirai, who I had to Google, of course. She wants to be an astronaut, which I guess, you know, she gets to do a little bit more than that, you know, to some degree, into the eventuality that she marries Bright Noah, mother of Hathaway Noah, and there's a flash in there somewhere. So they go to leave, and I can't tell if they're like reporters or they're just like looky-loos who want to know what the hell happened, but you know, they got the police blocking everyone off, you know, and she looks up and of course sees the children and that fucking cat who clearly was useless. And he's like, no, get away from the window. For some reason, I don't know what Char's deal with hiding from them would be, considering they're about to save your lives more or less. At the same time, also enslave you to some degree.
But if there's media coverage right there,
I understand the media coverage getting away from the window, but nobody was allowed that far in to see. Like they're inside the gates. He taking her away as Mirai looks up at them.
You can zoom in with a camera.
I guess I don't know. But I actually was like, will they ever meet again?
One of them.
Joey.
Yeah.
Guess what?
Yes.
We go back to space.
Yes.
No cut. Back to space. We're in Monroe.
Yeah, it's just like boom.
Boom, we're there. But it's like commercial break would have been good. Maybe there is one somewhere Tears, the most acceptable of body fluids. I don't even know what to do with that, man. I can make a terrible joke.
What about like? No,
No,
never mind.
there's a reason I wasn't continuing.
I'm not touching it.
Nope, you shouldn't. All right, so we get all the crowds cheering loudly for the Zabi family, and we got big, gigantic Zeonic flags hanging. Although, are they called Zeonic flag, or is it technically the Zeon flag yet?
I don't think so.
I don't know what it's called technically at this point, but it is the image as you have behind your head there, which is not a Nazi flag for the weird people who show up suddenly and go like, "What is that? Is that a Nazi flag you got there?"
Is this a Nazi live stream?
Is this a Nazi live stream? It happened. Go back and watch one of my Friday night random live streams where you and I were talking.
Yeah.
And you got Girin standing there, waving out at the crowd. Very Hitler-like. Except he's not standing there giving a speech. He might have just given a speech. We don't know what happened prior to this, but clearly some type of rally.
He does give a lot of speeches.
I bet. And Kashylia walks up. And I've started to think that she has some very Starscream-like qualities as well.
Yeah, she does.
She's never exactly trying to usurp power, not necessarily trying to jump in, but she's definitely taken for granted and treated like a second-class part of the family, despite the good she does.
Yes.
Because in this case, you know, she mentions that, you know, the old man wants to make an appearance and stuff like that. And as I wrote down, let's go see what the Space Lannisters are up to. But the chairman wants to see him, of course, referring to Dagon. And he's like, he's just straight up the actor. So you had Jimba killed? Yeah. Duh. It's like, hello, we've been waiting forever to kill these people. Let's do it now. And then, of course, he brings up a good point, but you failed to kill the other two. That's what you get for using locals. It's like, what do you want me to do? Literally fly down there with our forces, go in there myself and kill them?
Well, the idea there is you can't trust Earth.
You can't trust locals to get things done, but they tried really fucking hard. They were just dumb about their usage of swords and machine guns. They almost had it.
Yeah.
They almost had it. They just got too flamboyant in their methods. Like, if they could sneak someone in and leave them there in a suit of freaking armor, they could have just put a bomb.
You know what? Yeah, why not just put a
big ass bomb
in the suit of armor?
In the suit of armor. If you've actually gotten that far, why not? So maybe, yeah, short-sighted thinking of weird local terrorist people. Basically, she just can't win. Like, she just, like I said, always treated like a fucking second-class citizen in her own fucking family, despite the good work she manages to do. And basically it says, like, being in the special service now, or having the special service, is not like the old private army days. You know, if you're going to be a commander, you need to really start acting like a leader. And of course I wrote down, she's definitely going to try to kill him one day if she can.
Actually, I think actually by this point they are calling themselves Zeon, the Republic of Zeon.
They're still called Munzo. So far, right in this moment, they're referring to everything as Munzo. They have not said Zeon yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's coming. I assume it's coming, because wherever the old man is going, I assume is to probably declare it, because all the signs are talking about independence and all that stuff like that. So
yeah,
which once again are in English.
Yes,
I appreciate that for us. Suits of armor. Hold on, what do we got here? Yeah, he says that's not helping. Godspace Florida, man, probably cobbled together mobile suit that runs on diesel and meth.
Yeah.
It's probably a lot like the D Gundam. Right? I think that's a very good description of what a Florida Gundam would be. Henceforth why she's my favorite. Oh, she's Starscream like, of course Eric would say that. So basically they go downstairs. They're getting in the car. The old motherfucker comes outside. He's got little Garma following him. Why the fuck is he still wearing his sunglasses? It's like it's part of his character.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
He has a degenerative thing.
He's just an asshole.
Daewin?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, he couldn't be a bigger asshole in this sense if he wasn't constantly eating an apple. Thank you for anybody who understands the reference. But I get that he's like the kinder, gentler face of the evil organization.
Yeah.
Not to mention the more diplomatic one, so to speak, because he needs to be. And kind of how they brought up before, where they said that they need to make Giran to be more duplicitous and things like that. You can tell that the last few years have really gone a little bit more there because his attitude is slightly different. He does still have the massive superiority complex. But in this case, they're just leading up to where's Dozel? Why is he not here? And he's like, oh, he had something super important to take care of. And I got to wonder if the old man knows exactly what he's up to, or they're just being secretive because of where they are. Like, you know, surrounded by people. It can't be like, yeah, you know, that they're going to go test out the new mobile worker.
I have a feeling that
are there some things that are going on behind the old man's back?
I have a feeling that a lot of whatever Giran has his hands in, Daewin does
Sorry,
not
I almost spit my drink reading a comment. Jerry said he looked up what the GUNDAM. It does, in fact, look like it's on meth. I wasn't lying. It's like,
right.
Well, the director said they didn't have the budget for that. Budget for what? What did I miss? Either way, so cut to my favorite scene of this entire episode. And actually, I love this transition. The slow pan through town with the really nice jazz music and singing in English, which is also really cool. Which I wouldn't have minded if it was in Japanese, but the fact that they're singing it in English and everything like that. But the very noir feeling of it is why I loved it. And there's something about everything that Ramba has done behind the scenes, especially since like episode 1 or episode 2, like beginning of episode 2, where we go back to Bar Eden.
Yes.
And like, first of all, I'm glad the computer was on my lap from whenever they get to who's singing the song. It's like, woo, boy. I thought she looked good in the uniform.
I know, right? So Haman,
God, did they? Okay, so as an older original Gundam, did they over sexualize her that much in the original series?
So, kind of like in that weird 70s anime kind of way.
I figured she wasn't as voluptuous,
right?
Yeah.
However, because I watched it, of course, in the dub. Haman's dub in the original series is really bad. Like, it's really bad. She's got like this weird, like almost like a hiss of a voice. I don't know. It's really bad. But yeah, she's pretty sexual in the series. To the point,
given her side job, so to speak, it makes sense.
You're right.
She is supposed to be she's almost like Black Widow.
Yeah.
Very well skilled, very knowledgeable, but uses her sexuality to, I assume, infiltrate and do other things. Because we can tell she definitely has spy qualities and things like that.
Yeah.
But good God.
Yeah. She's drawn very well in this particular scene. I don't know.
The sensual singing is awesome. Did you see the comment that's on the screen?
Yeah, I think that might have been what happened at the meeting.
Yeah. But I love, so the song she's singing is very indicative, at least to me. She's singing to Raul. Obviously she's singing for. She's definitely singing for, but I assume that she's singing to, in a way, because you see him. I love that he's just in there in the dank, just kind of. Now I don't know at this point if he knows his father has been killed.
I don't.
I don't think he does.
I also don't think he would care.
True, but it is still his dad.
Yeah.
Still a crazy old fuck, and he risked his life and his career to save his father.
Only out of
The-
like
what
a sense
sense
honor
of
and duty.
honor. I think realistically, like letting him die there probably would have made more sense, because obviously he's probably more than likely been stripped of title, not allowed to serve anymore, and all these things. That's why he's just spending his days hanging out in the bar, which he sort of already did. But
pretty much, yeah. I think he's still technically part of the military. I don't know if he was necessarily stripped of rank. He was mostly stripped of like his family name lost honor, basically.
yeah, that's one thing that definitely comes up, because they blame the Rals for basically what happened. So his name means nothing, and he's probably seen as a criminal to a lot of people. Even if they said, no, it was Jimba, not Ramba that did it. Which
Yeah,
I assume is the kind of compromise they came to as to why he's still alive in the first place.
Yeah, it's very much like a Worf situation.
Oh, hey. Someone's boyfriend is ignoring them, so she came here to distract herself.
I'm not ignoring her.
You're an albino panda. She says panda in white, but I'll call you an albino panda. Yes, Hamon was also a haughty woman in the original Mobile Suit Gundam, but I assume nothing to this degree. But I love everything about, like, I liked other versions of Ramba, but now that I'm getting to know him through this series, like, I love him. Like, it's just like, so far he's my favorite character, and I'm guessing he's like us in this situation. He's experiencing things from the outside, but also suffering through them at the same time. And so he's going through the emotional turmoil, but, so of course the singing gets interrupted by some asshole Fetty. It's like, this is a stupid song. Why is this shit? Let's get to karaoke. Fucking drunk ass bastard just interrupts the fucking song. And they're like, dude, at least open your fucking eyes. Like, how far away from the stage are you that you're going to interrupt that? Fucker.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I say Hamon, not Hamon. Oh, he's correcting him, not me. Sorry, I'm not reading. I'm reading behind.
I don't. My interpretation of this Federation soldier is he's probably from Earth and stationed there.
He's not happy with. They're there because of the uprising.
Right.
This is why the Feddies are getting involved. That's why they've been involved, because of course the Munzo Defense Forces are, somewhere in between, and potentially turning on them. So yeah, they have to intercede, and of course that's one reason why all of this is happening.
Right. What I'm getting at more to the point though is I think his perception of Hammond up on stage it's just some space noid whore.
Yeah, like, probably.
I don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear a stupid love song. I came here to party. I'm on duty all the time.
Assuming it's
fighting you stupid space noids. I just want to have fun.
Yeah. He's still being a dick. And then his friends also being dicks, because he actually runs on stage and yanks the fucking mic from her. Which I love the sound design in this. They actually captured the moment where you went from hearing his voice out loud to hearing it through the mic. And I like that. And so, they make a scene, and then I love the look on her face, like, oh, you should turn around. And then literally just fucking fist of Ral right to this asshole's face. And he fucking knocks him back to fucking, like, not into the drums, but against. Yeah. And then at this point, it's just Ral versus these dicks. I think there's like 6 or 7 of them, just depending on which view they're looking at. And I love the fact that he backs up to the bar and reaches over, clamp. And he sits there and starts wrapping his hands. Is like, I think he says, go ahead, do what you got to do. I'll clean up after. And he's like, good, because I feel like cutting loose. I'm just like, holy shit. It's like, this just went very DBZ almost. Like, finally, I can cut loose. It's like, And he just literally had time to wrap both his hands before these assholes come at him. And he goes full on boxer style. And he's literally just punching the fuck out of this. He like knocks the shit out of the next guy. And then the next one comes up trying to hit him with a chair. He's still got the chair in the air. And he's just like, whap, 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 whap. Just punching the shit out of him.
He's got some moves for, like, you know, a guy who's spending most of his days in a bar.
Yeah. Oh, I like this. Okay, so he thinks that. Okay, so Jerry says that he thinks Ramba got it worse in the animation change. He went from like 6'4" and 200 pounds of muscle to like 5'6", 258 in OG Gundam. Yeah, he was like short and stocky.
Yeah, and honestly, in the original Gundam, he's almost like animated like some old guy.
He
like,
does seem like an old man. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's not. He's actually really young.
He's at least in his 30s. I think we discussed it last time. He's got to be in like his late 20s, early 30s when this is going on.
Yeah.
So that means by the time OG Gundam comes around, he's maybe pushing like 39.
Maybe.
You know, maybe on the top end, but he's still spry.
Yeah.
I guess we could look that up in theory.
Yeah.
Twist the drink. It's a very like Irish bar brawl.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, he wipes the floor with these motherfuckers, just knocking them left and right. And it's like, and they try to take him on all at once. And it doesn't work. Like, it's just like, nope, one at a time, just pop, knock you out of the way, whatever. And so the guy who started all this bullshit, who never even got up, he's still on the seat. He's like, get him, guys. And then they realize, fight harder. Shit. And he starts to crawl away. Like, he's against the wall. I don't know where he thinks he's going, trying to climb over the fucking seat. And Raul, I love, this is like the funniest part of this. He's like, what? You wanted to sing? Here's the mic. Fucking sing for me. Sing, bitch. Like, shoves it in his fucking face. It was like that Oh, I forgot about the guy who hit him on the head with the bottle. He hits him over the head with the bottle. He turns around, blood coming down his head. That fucking look like, oh, that was my on button, bitch. And then he yells. I love that scream, like he's just gonna fucking shatter this guy. And it was just like, oh my god, watching him cut loose was so much fucking fun. Like, it's one thing to watch Casval be a badass because he's like literally like natural, like going to be that badass, has that badass attitude. Raul is like the nice guy that you don't know has been in, you know, some type of martial arts his entire fucking existence.
Yeah.
And you just pick the fight with the calm guy in the room.
He's perceived kind of like that in the original series too. Like, he's super calm. Kind of like he doesn't overreact to things.
Yeah, he's very cool-headed and
but then
methodical.
He's still like a huge badass. Like,
yeah,
well, until stuff happens.
Stuff happens.
He runs into new types for the first time.
Yeah, well, everybody's a badass till they run into fucking new types.
That should be the name of this series.
Yeah, everyone's a badass until a new type comes in the room. Well, that's Graham Acres' whole problem, isn't it?
Pretty much.
He's like, no, I'm the ace pilot. I'm the badass. Fuck. What's a Gundam again? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love the fact that all of this is going on, and it is Gundam the origin, but the Gundam hasn't come yet.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I know that at least in one episode it does come about later. Sort of.
We'll talk.
I mean, I've seen different things. I haven't seen the whole thing. I've seen different things. But obviously this isn't, and I know there's Amuro-centric episodes too. Kind of. I've seen some of that. I have seen some of that.
Yeah, it's fine. I just don't want to spoil anything for anyone.
No, that's fine. I mean, like, hello. It's not like this is a brand new thing. Like, it's been around a minute.
I know, but still.
And it's playing in a world that is already done. Kind of, you know, certain information is out there, Joseph.
I'm just saying. Okay, so I'll go ahead.
I mean, don't, for everyone else's sake, don't. Okay. But you know, I've seen what I've seen, and I'll just leave it at that. Ramba, on the other hand, gets stopped.
What I'll say is what you've seen is probably all there is.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'm not saying it's like a huge thing. This is all about Char and his rise to being Char. I understand that. That's why it's also called Advent of the Red Comet.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Duh. But we still have to have the people tied in otherwise.
Yeah.
We're showing how people that were important to the original series have gotten to where they are.
Right.
And
I was
yay,
just
this is what a
talking
prequel
about
series is good for.
I was just talking about how
No,
like
I
the
understand.
Gundam in general.
Yeah, I know. It's
Anyway.
not an important thing here. It's just they needed a slight bit of fan service to get there. Wow, how did I get that? So okay, I was in a weird gap of my notes. I was like, what is that? But yeah, that's that fucking Freddy's interrupting the song. Freddy's. But I love this. A voice and boots yell at him. I love just the loud voice yells at him and they pan over to Boots. Like, oh god damn it. I love that he says, I think they've had enough. And he does the turnaround. He's like, I know that fucking voice. Of course he does. This is how I wish the scene played out. Like, clearly it's not going to. It's a fairly serious moment. But I wrote it as, oh, hey, Dozel. I'm just beating up some fetty dipshits. Want to join? Like,
That would have been fantastic.
that would have been funny. Like, just, this is how the scene should be written. And in the meantime, he's literally doing that thing where he's punching a dude and looking at Dozel. Like, want to join? You know?
Oh, that'd be so cartoony.
Yeah, it would be. And it's shown cartoony, silly shit and applied to Raul. So to me, it would be funny if somebody did this as a thing. But the next lines are really fucking important. Because he's like, the Raul family head fighting hand to hand with some Federation pipsqueaks. And then he drops the guy and he's like, the Raul family? It's as good as dead. Brought down by you lot. Like, he's still like, obviously, you fucked my family over.
Yeah.
You killed, well, if he didn't say you killed my father, but that's the implied thing. He is Inigo Montoya. Anyways, but his response, like, I surmised it as, yeah, that was our bad. He basically said it's regrettable that it went that way. Like, sorry that we had to do that to you. And I wrote down, of course, Raul intensifies. Like, I think he was legit going to go after Dozel right there.
I kind of get that feeling as well.
I assume it's probably been a couple years. He's in fight mode. He's already pissed and probably drunk. Assuming drunk.
You don't start a fight like that without having a little bit of liquor in you.
I don't know. Years of the bullshit he's gone through. Maybe. Fair. And probably, I'm sure he wasn't a fan of the Federation. And then after this shit has happened, it definitely going downhill. Obviously, we see more and more how Zeon has come about. But yeah, and then Hamon's just like, no, hold on. Titties. Calm down. She literally kind of pads him like, no. It's like, you've done your fighting. Don't fight this one. It's like, we've already had this fight. This isn't going to go well for us again. Titties. Like, she probably couldn't. Anyways, Ramba still respects Dozel. And yes, this is the thing. Dozel didn't have a problem. He even defended Ramba earlier when they said, kill him too. He's like, no, he's a good man and a great leader, and I would love to have him serve under me one day.
Yeah. And
that mutual respect is there, but also the massive amount of anger that he has and should rightfully fucking have towards the Zabi family. But I get that, you know, in the characterization so far, Dozel is fairly well respectable and I would say more honorable than some of his relatives. And he's a kinder, gentler, giant motherfucker.
I love Dozel.
I get the people who do. Mind you, I've only seen very small instances of him from old UC stuff, so I knew nothing of him. I just knew that the big motherfucker with the scars is Dozel.
Right.
And I assume that there's a gentle giant aspect to him to some degree, but he
definitely
can smash when necessary. But I love that he just goes, you know, I have a favor to ask you. Will you do it so that I don't lose face? I just love that, you know, it'll make me look bad if I come in here and ask you to do something and you say no. I've already told them you'd come, which I guarantee you was like the situation because nobody was surprised when Rawl shows up to where they're going. They hop in the car and I said, "Where are we going?" "Away." "Where are we going?" "Next door." "What's going on next door?" "Stuff." Like, you got to think about this. Okay, so we already discussed that colonies are huge.
Yes.
We also see it's a very long drive to the docking port.
Yes.
Probably a 20-30 minute drive. You know, it's the middle of the night.
Traffic. Yeah.
It's the middle of the night. Who knows? But it's still a good, almost probably 10-15 mile drive.
It's ways to.
And you have to do the elevator. You got to do all the things. You got to pretend gravity is not actually doing anything, and that the fucking core is not spinning, and there's no artificial gravity. We discussed this last time. Doesn't make sense. But they go next door.
I drew a diagram for you.
No. It doesn't make sense how they showed it. The science makes sense.
Yeah.
They didn't address it properly.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that.
That's what I meant. So he's like, "Are we going to go to the moon?" And he's like, "No, not that far." So they go to Side 3, Extra Banchi or Bunky. I don't know how that word is pronounced. I figured it was Banchi. Dark Colony.
Well, it's actually just called like Bunch.
Yeah, it just, this is what they spelled it out as.
Yeah.
It's basically just, I assumed that it's a dark colony. Like, literally, there ain't shit there. But
basically,
you clearly see there's a buttload of colonies, just probably for different reasons. Probably farming and industrial colonies. I assume that's the situation. So they don't have to have all the shit in one. They just build the one they need for different things. And then they just ship stuff between the sides. Like, within the sides, there's more than one colony. We know this.
Yes.
So this is one that they control, and there's probably not a lot of people looking at, because it's next door. Nobody gives a shit. And probably under the disguise of, like, say, being called Texas Colony. It's not Texas Colony, but that's just, where do we hide our enemies? Texas. I swear to God, they should have had a fucking accent. That would have been so much funnier. If they went there first and they picked up a fucking accent while they were there. But goes there and they're like, "Hey, let's walk and do the thing. It's command center." "Cool." And he's like, "Oh, Captain, I haven't seen you in a long time." Once again, I believe that when he said, help me save some face, basically, literally, like, he told everybody, "I'm going to go get Raul for this because he should be involved." And he's greeted by Gaia. I know who Gaia is through the video games.
Yeah.
And of course, I haven't seen him in a long time. And now he's a commissioned officer. Raul's reaction to these guys now being officers and being upgraded from the last time he saw them, like, must say something to the fact that, they really bumped these guys up to get them to here. And it's even covered up a little bit later because all the screens start turning on, and they go to the person in the cockpit, who's Ortega. Once again, another name I know. I actually do know these names. These have come up before. And now he's up to being a warrant officer. And he's like, "Damn, him too?" So obviously, due to this project, even MASH gets to come along, and is like, "Yeah, now that we're all here and doing this, we all basically have upgraded. We have intensified.
We've all been promoted.
We've all been promoted once we got assigned to this project." And Raul is just like, "What the fuck is happening here?" Because he's clearly not looking at the screen of the diagrams of the large robot. And at which point, Mono Eye powers up. Cinematic shit's about to happen. Oh, this is so fucking good. Now, I'd seen part of this battle before. No spoilers, obviously, for this point. So they're actually testing the mobile worker. And of course, I am very familiar with the mobile worker. It's one of my favorite suits from the Origin, or favorite kits, I should say. And of course, I have the irony of this scene that I have merged the two things that we're fighting in this into a single unit.
Yeah.
So they're testing out their new mobile worker 01, their first real kind of mobile suit thing. And it's made to smash gun tanks. And smash gun tanks it is. But I assume that it was given a more innocent appearance of, oh, it's just stuff to move things around the docks. That's why it's got the big clamp. That's why it's got some fucking cranes on it. I
So
assume that's what they were going for, because I know what mobile workers are generally used for.
yeah.
But I figured in this case it was we're going to use this to kick some ass, and we're just going to let them believe that it's not for that. I'm making the assumption for next time.
You're right. That's
Yeah,
basically it.
secretive things. But so I love the slow like starts to boom, boom. Barely start to walk,
Yeah.
and I love the detail of the cables running behind it. You
Yeah.
know, but here's the attention to detail that I love, and this is definitely like a military thing. The cables are perfectly wrapped behind it in serpentine, perfectly spaced, so that it can smoothly
Yes.
extend as it moves forward. So we get basically a road or a runway lit up. Fight! We got the gun tank at the other end, and we've got mobile work at this end. And I assume that they just got a gun tank. Like, it's just like,
Well,
we found one. Or
I'm
stole,
assuming
or Anaheim donated one,
I'm assuming it's
potentially.
left over from when they were part of the federal forces because they had their own security force.
Yeah, but I got the idea that while they were their own personalized military force for Munzo,
Mhm.
they didn't need anything to the extent of a gun tank or even a tank, because we see only the Feddies using them. Now, it's possible, like you said, they took them. However, most of the things that Munzo used had their defense forces or the Earth Sphere symbol, not a Federation logo.
Right.
But I mean, clearly they stole one somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, if Hamon could get one by tricking some dudes because she's got tits and giving money, it's oh hey, where did that gun tank go? Oh, clearly they're not great at paying attention to where the shit goes. But we get a gun tank piloted by, I assume, a computer, because I doubt they would put somebody really alive in there.
I was under the
Or
impression
remote,
who
I assume.
who was in the mobile worker? Was that Ortega or Mash?
Ortega.
Because
Oh,
I thought
Mash might have been controlling it remotely.
yeah, I thought that was the concept they were going for.
It would make sense. I mean, like, so it's shooting at the mobile worker. He puts the shield up. I think does Dozel yell at him to put the shield up? I forget what he says.
He says, "Make sure you keep the shield up."
Make sure you keep the shield up. Which, that shield is so fucking awesome. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yes.
Like, we saw the gun tank even shred other gun tanks in the previous episode when Kosval was using it. So this one shield, like, no pun intended, is tanking all the attacks. The machine gun, which, whoop-de-doo. Which, by the way, wow, that spread fire was kind of ridiculous. Like, it was everywhere. It's like, I'm just going to point 4 machine guns like this
Like,
and see what I hit. Which I guess
yeah,
if you're trying to just knock down some forces, fine. But accuracy is not what those are for. That's what the big guns are for. Which I cannot believe it just absorbed that hit with just a couple dings. And they just kept charging. Like, he just kept running faster and faster. I didn't think a mobile worker was going to be that fast. And I believe that's part of the surprise coming later, where you assume it's a big, slow, lumbering thing, and then it can charge that quickly. Like, they cover a pretty good distance like that.
yeah.
And the gun tank doesn't really go very far. So he's literally almost running the distance all the way to the gun tank. I mean, I know that it like comes out and it like stops abruptly, so you actually see it kind of flexing, which I love that attention to detail on the 3D models. That when it does the slinky thing whenever it comes to a stop. I love that. But basically, he takes it down in a single hit.
That sort of like recoil back. It makes you like you kind of like see the weight of the machine.
Okay, so yeah, Dozel is honor bound to douchebaggery. There we go. Okay, so here's this comment first, Joe. What else are mobile workers going to be used for? Teenage mercenaries. Hold on, here's the follow up.
Oh, someone should do that. Someone needs to get a mobile worker and paint it up. with the
Oh,
Ryusei.
if I can find another one, those kits are very hard to find nowadays. But
They
I would
are.
totally do a Ryusei Go mobile worker because I know a friend of mine who would definitely love that. Basically, knocks the shit out of the gun tank, knocks the head off, and as we know, the head is clearly the weak point because it's how they killed him in the previous episode.
Yeah.
Take the head off, the whole thing explodes. Great design.
I never understood it. It's like that in so many series where if you destroy the head, like
Which
the whole
is
thing blows up.
and the head is only like an ancillary piloting thing, and assumes
Like
some sensors.
it's like the main sensors and communications, but like
Why would it destroy the whole thing?
there's no
Most of the
actual
drive
power
unit,
source. Yeah.
only if you damage, say, like the ammo storage and things like that. I could see that happening, assuming these are like incendiary rounds,
Yeah.
exploding rounds, not just solid rounds. Solid rounds probably would have gone through the shield, but they're explosive rounds, so they just poof off of the shield, which clearly like meant to be like super absorbent layered thing. Know exactly where you can find Origin Mobile Worker. Great.
Where?
And
Because
I don't want, and I'm not paying P Bandai prices for what, we're obviously. So, hold on, let me read what I wrote here. So, Raul is incredibly impressed at this, which is where that image comes from.
He has a little bit of a row boner.
Yes, he does. But I said, somebody get this man a blue one, which they do.
Yes.
And then they charge you extra money to buy the blue one.
Yeah,
which only makes sense now as I realize that the reason they did the orange one as the mainline one is it's the more important, so to speak. Shoot me a message on Facebook. Okay. I don't have any money right now, Jerry, so it doesn't do me any good.
So the model kit of the mobile worker that is out, it's actually the second unit. It's not the first one. There are some physical differences because
I figured
one
that
here, it's not actually
the warning labels and
yellow.
stuff.
It's or this one in this episode is actually more yellow. And then there's physical differences. It looks orange on screen, but when you
it looks very orange.
When you see the next ones,
they're super orange.
Super orange.
Well, I figured this was like the prototype
yes,
because it also has the warning signs on the legs and stuff that the model kit doesn't have. Yeah. So I assume that that's a later version that has less warning yellow checkers and stuff like that. So, yeah. But I saw what, and now I get why people did that custom. Obviously, I'd never seen this before, so there's that. But I thought the box art was simulating that battle, or is it the one coming?
It's the one coming.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know about that. And so, and I wrote like this, and just like that, Ralph forgave what they did to his family. Because really, what it seems like is like, oh. I could just see him like looking over, like, I want to punch the things. Like, can I play? Now, I did notice that, like, okay, so the cockpit section, which is on the chest,
yeah,
that's a little scary.
Oh yeah, it's fully exposed.
And like to me, I would have had that like
a roll bar.
Yeah,
roll cage.
To me, I would be like, okay, that's a dummy cockpit. Like the real, like there's a protected one inside or like a battle bridge, so to speak. Like it sucks in when a real battle starts, because that would be cool.
Nope, yeah, fully exposed.
Okay. I think the blue Bugu was mass retail. Yeah, the blue Bugu was. The other Bugu wasn't.
Right.
But that's why I never bothered getting that Bugu. But I like the Bugu. I thought that was a great kit. It's a fun design.
You know, I'm really behind on the Origin kits.
The first Ryusei was a mobile worker. Yes, that's why we're making the joke. We're talking about taking one of these mobile workers and painting it as a Ryusei. Thanks for following along. And I'm gonna. I still have the eye stickers too. I think I could slap a couple on there. But here's the funny thought. So there hasn't been a whole lot of, or I've missed every post-credit scene if there have been, but I think some of them just end after the credits. First time I watched it, I didn't realize there was a post-credit scene.
Neither did I, because this is the first time of me watching this version.
Yeah, I know, because you didn't know it was a thing. You're like, so wait, what's supposed to happen in this episode? And you're like, I'm like, no, that's episode 2. You're like, episode 2. I'm like, no, episode 3. Like, what are you talking about?
I knew this version existed. I didn't. I just couldn't fathom anyone would want to watch this version.
We needed to make it easier to consume and report on.
Gotcha.
Rather, it takes us an hour and a half to do a 20-minute episode.
Yeah.
How long would it take to do the whole almost hour and a half long movie?
No, it's only about an hour and 6 minutes, and that's
Still,
with credits.
it's double. You know, it would have taken us longer to do it that way. Plus, this gave us more ample time per weeks to get us to the next Build Diver series. That was we did the math. But either way, post-credit scene, which was cool. We're at a busy spaceport, and a Haro rolls through. Yay, Haro! Being chased by a young boy with curly reddish hair.
I take issues with this scene, but go on.
Yes. I love that everybody's like laughing at him because the Haro's like out of control and is just like, come on, get it together. Everybody's like laughing at him. Because I knew in universe the original Haros were like toys. They're like just like a little robot thing that kids can have. And I know he did more stuff to make his better.
So in the very first series, the original series,
yeah,
he says that he built Haro. And in Zeta,
yeah,
he gets royalties for the toy sales of Haro.
Yeah.
So the fact that there's a Haro that he bought at a store is a major retcon.
Well, it depends on how they're taking it. What if he got like one of the earliest ones because he did design it, like most people do? So he's got it and he wasn't supposed to open it, which is the funny part. He opens it in the fucking airport and Dad yells at him like, I told you not to open that. I find that actually kind of really fucking real world funny. So, I mean, we don't know why he has it here. I mean, it's still possible he did invent it, you know, and he just has like the one at the moment.
At this age, he's so young though. I don't know.
Yeah, but he's still a genius.
Okay.
To a degree. But then again, you know, who knows? We know this series retcons some stuff. You know, but some it's also
stuff. And there's one episode in particular that I want to help talk about, and I'll talk to you about it later.
Okay. Well, maybe when we get there, you can also come on. Yeah. Whoa, my headset just did a weird thing. The ear padding just rotated. It's not done that before. That was an odd sound. In Unicorn, it said Amuro built Haro as well. Yeah. I mean, like once again, we're adding in things. It's the whole point of retconning. Like it's never. I already knew that this wasn't 100% because it's also adding to the story. So that means they can fuck with the story,
right?
And I'm fine with that. It has no effect on me. If it's a storytelling thing, cool.
There's only one thing that Origin does that upsets me, and I'll get to that later. It's not in this episode.
And he said the Haro scene is where we know that Origin is different UC timeline following the manga from the old UC anime. Different. I mean, is it ultimately is it like a whole completely different timeline?
The understood concept now, apparently, and I disagree with this, is that Origin is a completely like alternate universe to the Universal Century,
where most of the same shit happens.
Right, which I don't understand why.
I mean, multiverse theory, sure.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna just go ahead and say that this is just retconning mildly shit that we already know.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I'm fine with that as someone who has not experienced the UC as it previously existed.
Fair.
But I like what they did here, and I saw what they were going to go with. Like, okay, so he's got to cram the thing away. Everybody's laughing at him. Oh, hey, look, Sayla's watching him fight this thing. Just kind of, at first she's watching him like, really? And then she kind of also kind of like thinks it's funny at the same time. Or maybe it's just the way she was playing it off to Tiabolo. Because he's like, what are you looking at? He's like, oh, it's just some boy having a problem with a big toy, which sounds weird.
Well, it's like for Sayla, that's like, wow, that's what common kids do. That's how normal kids live their life. I'll never get to live that.
I get that. She's definitely not, even when her life was still normal, It was not a normal life, you know,
Right.
living as a princess and then also going through the shit they've gone through, having something that looks like a normal life from the outside, at least, because we already know that not exactly a normal life either.
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, that makes sense, you know, but she still loves her cat, which is fucking cat still there, fucking cat carrier. And I love the fact that Fat Ass is in a wheelchair, but they're on a moving sidewalk.
Well, I mean,
I
they're not
get it, but
always going
still.
to be on the moving sidewalk.
But he could. I bet it takes them directly to their fucking terminal.
Yeah, but he still needs to be on the wheelchair for later.
And there's not really given how much time has passed, but he's healed up nicely, other than the fact he's still in a wheelchair. But he was fucked up.
Yeah.
So we know that probably some months have gone by since the previous problem. That's the only thing that I have a problem with the series is there's no semblance of time. Like,
Yeah.
there's just huge time skips with no like this is the day. Like at least give us the month and the year.
Yes.
Something like give us a concept of it. Origin manga is supposed to be retelling of original Mobile Suit Gundam with some major differences. Like we're just
there
like
are some major differences.
Amuro loses.
No, that's the novels.
Oh yeah. Oh, I knew that because Thomas has a novelization now. So then, can Team Rocket feel from Double Zeta Neo Zeon be retconned? I always drew that parallel. I just didn't know what it was from. It's funny. I mean, it's fine. I mean, basically, the way I look at it, they're basically Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhooding this bitch.
Sort of, yeah.
Same universe, different shit happens, but ultimately same outcome. You know, if a slightly different stuff still gets you to the same storyline, then I'm not really considering it
Is
something.
it the same outcome between Brotherhood and original?
By the end of it, kind of. I mean, if you exclude the movie, from the original series,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically Ed dies in that one, but
It's been a long time.
Dies. But, you know, the same concepts go through, but hey, here's some more shit. You know,
Yeah.
but in that case, Brotherhood was following the manga more closely. So there was more story, a lot of weird side stuff, but ultimately expanding on the story that we didn't do in the first one. So adding to it at the same time as retconning it to some degree, but ultimately the end result is kind of the same.
Okay.
I said kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you stop at a very specific point.
If you stop at a very
stop at a very specific point. It's the same story.
About halfway.
About halfway. Yeah. Is there ever hold on. Is there ever another scene where Tiabolo walks or stands again? Oh. Yeah, second half. That's what we're talking about. Second half, Full Metal Alchemist. Is he ever actually walking or standing again?
I mean, it's not really a spoiler, but yeah, I think so.
I mean, good for him if he is.
I'm pretty sure.
He's in space. He weighs less.
Well, yeah.
I do like the spaceports. I'm not gonna lie. I liked that. I like the design. You know, it involved a little bit more, like at least for me personally, for series. You see it a lot in Seed and Seed Destiny actually do the whole space launchers and stuff like that.
Yes.
More than other series that I've watched, where they're either taking off from the ground and they just have something that can get into space, or they really don't do much from the ground ever. You know. He just said the same thing. He said the same thing twice. Oh, he's correcting because he said FMP by accident. Yeah, we knew what you meant. You didn't have to correct yourself.
Full Metal Panic. He didn't want that confusion. Okay.
Oh yeah, I don't ever consider that. Given the context, we knew what you meant. Yeah, they are super different, but the idea is still ultimately the same.
Yeah.
The sacrifices near the end are still ultimately the same, just depending on where they ended up. You know.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily. I love the original series. I don't agree with the ending, especially post movie. The end of this.
Like, I take the original series as like it's a good hamburger, and then Brotherhood is like a steak. Like they're both good.
But no, Brotherhood, it's like a fucking 3-course meal after you've finished your hamburger.
Okay.
You get the hamburger, and then you're like, oh, I can have all of this stuff too. Okay, I would like to stop eating now. I'm not full, or I'm full, damn it.
I really like Brotherhood, but okay.
I liked Brotherhood, but holy shit, there's a lot of shit to get cut out of it. I prefer and once again, tangents. We're done with the origin, so we can tangent all we like now.
Okay.
I prefer the handling of the homunculi in the first one better, especially with Pride and a couple of the other ones. I like those versions better.
Okay.
I mean, it kept like the core 3
Yes.
essentially the same. Envy, lust, stuff like that. But just the way they did some of the other homunculi, I was not a fan of in Brotherhood. I just don't like the recharacterization for that story.
Even though it's more accurate to the manga.
Yeah, I mean, but how would I'm just going off of what I've seen.
Right.
I didn't have to read the manga to know that those characters are totally different. I liked the idea of just how they did it there.
Sure, yeah. And to some extent I actually agree with that. So.
Now, expanding on Envy's storyline a bit more. Envy's death in Brotherhood was much better than Envy's death in the original.
Yes.
Well, death. The ultimate end of Envy was so fucking stupid in the original. That's all I gotta say about it.
It's been so long.
Hohenheim's story, the expansion of it in Brotherhood was fine, but I actually liked it better in the original. It was a little bit more succinct.
I'm gonna have to rewatch both series now.
I mean, his death, once again, his death was dumb and just a plot device. In Brotherhood, his death meant more to the series because he stuck around and did more. But I prefer what his characterization. Actually, I liked it better because his rotting in the original was done better in my mind than it was in this one, where he started. It looked like he was a transmuted object, made of stuff, and I hated that texture they applied to things. I didn't like that. In the same way, the original anime series raced ahead and concluded before the manga had finished writing. Well, that makes sense,
right?
I liked the intro to Brotherhood better, but I wasn't against the old story and with Rose and all that. But the inclusion of Rose in the first series and what they did with her was very cyclical for the whole series, and that actually made sense as everything is a circle. Everything's represented by a circle. So having her at the beginning and at the end made sense to me anyways. I just like the series. I like both series. It's just I like the condensed nature of the first one.
Now that I'm actually really thinking hard about it, I don't know that I ever finished watching the original.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where I left off. I think it was with Envy.
You might as well watch it.
Yeah.
Or
maybe it was it Pride? I think it was Pride. Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
Are we all not just plot devices? I'm drawing a blank on lust, gluttony, pride,
sloth.
Wait, who was sloth in? Was there a sloth? There had to have been.
I thought there was, but I thought he was like.
I think it was a very abstract thing.
It was, yeah. God, no. You know what? I don't know if I can contribute any further to this conversation because
I'm going to go look because now I don't remember.
Sloth was abstract in Brotherhood. I don't know if Sloth was in the original. I'm assuming Sloth was, but I don't remember.
I'm just double checking. because obviously the original three, envy, lust, and gluttony were, they're repetitive and they didn't really change.
Right.
And then pride was, I said pride, I didn't mean pride earlier. I like, because pride's the one that does the armor and stuff like that, right?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so.
Okay, so I didn't mean pride. I meant Sloth was. Oh, that was Sloth. She was brought in as Eric and Al's dad or mom.
Oh,
That's right.
oh.
She was the water one, and he transmuted her to a gas to kill her. That's right. That's right. But I'm trying to remember what Sloth was in Brotherhood. Was there? I'm talking to them, not you,
Yeah, yeah.
because they're answering my things.
They are answering. They're answering better than I can.
Yes. Okay. So let me look here. I was looking for a list of them. But see, I like that there was the Dante character. Okay, so father. You know what? I really didn't like the father character. I get it, but I didn't like him. The original homunculus, the
Mhm.
dwarf in the flask. Um, that story went so goddamn deep.
Yeah, dude.
Wow,
It's a
there's a
good
whole
series.
giant section on father here. Pride. Okay. Yeah, because he was like super important as an antagonist, and his death in the first one, I liked it because like it showed more about his character, but then his change and everything like that, being connected to Lee and everything in Brotherhood was very different. Um, and then the Gluttony's weird, ridiculous, like mutant form later on, or whatever they went inside, because Gluttony is like Kirby. He has that whole universe inside that's like infinite. Everything he's ever eaten is inside it.
Yeah.
And then of course Envy's weird, full-on demonic, like giant dog form thing. Okay, so there's Envy. I'm scrolling through.
Yep.
Wrath. Who was Wrath in this one? King Bradley was Wrath. But was he Wrath in the first or the second one? Because I thought his changed. Oh, here we go. In the first anime adaptation, Bradley is Pride. An original homunculus was produced to serve the story version of Wrath. Wrath is a result of Izumi's attempt to revive her infant child. That's what Wrath was. Wrath was the one who kept absorbing other people's abilities into
Yeah.
himself or could attach other limbs. He had Ed's arm and leg, who gave him the ability to transmute. That's
Right.
right. That was Wrath. Okay. That's right. Okay. That's why I said Pride was done different. Pride was Bradley in the first one. And it was Greed. Greed is the one I had Greed backwards. So greed, envy, gluttony, and lust didn't change. It was the other ones that changed. That's right. Okay. Oh, I just passed up sloth. Uh, large, muscular, dim-witted. Oh, he was the giant one in Brotherhood. He's like the Hulk. He's like has like no brain, just does what
Oh,
he says, and he's like super strong, punches through
yeah.
stuff. That's sloth. That's right. That's why he wasn't around super long, if I remember correctly. They used him to like break walls and stuff. That's right. Father Cornello. Oh, and then of course we're not talking about Show Tucker. Fuck that asshole. For all eternity. Like not enough bad things. And I think he continued to exist. Like he sort of changed sides after he transmuted himself into a chimera. And he stuck around, I think, almost through the end of the series, if I remember correctly, through Brotherhood. Like he didn't get his like he should have. We're comparing the homunculi between the FMA series. Okay. Totally lost what we're talking about now. Okay. Oh, I only saw a few episodes on that Toonami years ago. I never got into it. If you're watching it on Toonami, I understand. But no, go watch. Definitely watch Full Brother or Full Brother Alchemist. Might as well be what it's called. The Brothers Elric.
Uh, I would recommend personally. I would recommend watching Brotherhood, but honestly, from the sounds of it, now that I am hearing more about the original,
Yeah.
I'd say watch both. Why not?
The storyline with Dante, like because they connect they keep the connection between the creator of the homunculi and Hohenheim. It's just
Okay.
they do it differently. I mean, I guess it's not a giant spoiler that, you know, there's that connection. It's
Yeah.
how the homunculi came about, how the Philosopher's Stone comes about in the first series comparatively, and what Hohenheim's mission is still very similar, but what happens to him is very different. Like, but the idea of what happens in Brotherhood, where they actually introduce God as an actual entity in that universe, is interesting. It's a giant eyeball in a door, but it's still God, you know.
In this world, there is no God.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's still, and I actually prefer the animation of the original over Brotherhood.
Actually, I do too.
The style, I should say, the style.
The style, yeah. Did you see what movie was that? The star of
Mr. Creed, yeah.
What is it? Milo Star of Milo something. The animation is completely different, like from Brotherhood.
Oh, you're talking about one of the Full Metal Alchemist movies?
Yeah,
They had the Conqueror of Shambhala and then the other one.
yeah, the other one.
I don't think I ever saw that. I saw Conqueror of Shambhala, which was so stupid.
It's the newer one.
Yeah, I know, but I'm trying to think what it was called. I know what you're talking about. It was like Milo's Star or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But either way, I didn't. I think I saw it. I know I watched the one that went with Brotherhood, and it was like the girl in the valley, and she had another fake Philosopher's Stone.
I
Is that
haven't
the
seen
same
that one.
movie, or you don't know? Okay. All I know is it wasn't necessarily canon and it wasn't great.
It was okay, but yeah, basically, it's not really.
It wasn't as bad as like the Naruto movies.
I never got into Naruto.
Oh, well, that sucked to be you.
I have a really hard time getting into series that
Now I
never
can see.
end.
Yeah, it's still going. I mean, in theory,
Like,
Star of Milos is a good popcorn fun movie. Okay, different universe, different god, different laws that govern the universe. Well, no kidding. They have transmutation. We don't. But they also changed what transmutation energy comes from between the
yeah,
two series.
yeah.
I actually prefer the concept of the first one. I just do, you know. The souls of dead people from an alternate universe are what powers alchemy in the other universe. I kind of dig that.
Okay.
That's why alchemy only goes one way. That's why there is no alchemy in the real world, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and watch these
You
series.
go back and rewatch the other one and watch the movie.
Okay.
It's not that the movie, and because it's taking place during World War One, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's one.
And they introduce the Thule Society and all that shit. They talk about the Fuhrer being a different person and basically name drop Hitler.
That'd be World War II.
Well, I'm just saying, like, they're sort of along those lines.
Yeah.
So they're somewhere in between, but then, like, they're talking about the bombing of London and stuff like that. So I guess with Churchill, it'd be two. You know, so all those things. But either way, I like it.
Yeah.
Soul Gems.
I need to go back and watch these.
Go back and watch it.
So
Yeah. I recommend both. I don't
I'll probably watch both. There's no reason not to.
I mean, I'm telling them, for anybody who has not watched it, watch
Oh,
both.
right.
Obviously, the first one is shorter, easier to get through. I think it's only 20 some odd, 23 episodes, plus the movie. Watch the movie because it does end the series, and it ends it on an interesting note. Brotherhood ends on a completely different note, but still a good ending. It's just there are parts of that series that are a slog. Like, it's just like, okay, come on, move on. Like, this is a little bit the new characters introduced in Brotherhood are nice. I do like that. The what's his face's sister? What's the big muscular guys? Alex. The big muscular guy who punches rocks.
Yeah, the big beautiful dude.
Yeah, big beautiful dude. His sister. She's
Yeah.
such a badass. She's such a fucking badass for a non-alchemist.
Winry?
Huh?
No. What's her name?
I don't remember. Somebody else. So are alchemists just sitting around orphanages just waiting? What?
Yes.
What do you mean?
I don't know, but yes.
I don't know what. I don't know what you mean there, Jerry. I know you're probably making a joke, but I don't understand it. Female Armstrong. Okay, that's yes. Armstrong is her last name, but what was her actual name? She's fucking like she's like such a yeah. It has weird pacing to start, but shifts gears. Okay, the beginning of both series have weird pacing because it's flashbacks at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's current, then flashbacks for like 4 episodes, and then back to current, and then minor time skips. It's just like so. I mean, their training is essentially the same. You know, all that stuff, and then up to Mother is basically all the same. So I mean, like, yeah. Brotherhood is potentially more gruesome, just for some of the stuff they show.
Yeah.
Nobody's come up with their name just yet, and I'm too lazy to look it up at this point.
Yeah, I don't care anymore.
I kind of want them to answer it. I'm asking them. I had it pulled up. I could have looked at, but yeah, I'm just recalling these things. They had way. Oh, I prefer Scar's storyline in the original.
Scar. I don't remember Scar.
The guy who had the destructive arm.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I prefer his storyline in the first movie to the storyline in the first series to the second. It was expanded like way too far. And like they just started giving him more and more stuff to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, his character is meant to be one note for a reason. And then he's supposed to have his ultimate end. Like they're just like, hey, would you like to have a little bit of turncoating? Would you like to build a bit more character? It's not necessary because your backstory gives you all the characterization you need. I think they carried it on a little too far. So, I prefer it in the first one. Especially his ultimate end is better in my mind. Not gonna lie, I was kind of lost where it was ongoing, forgot what I was doing. That's funny. But anyways, guys, it's gotten late. Somebody might have to work tomorrow. I don't fucking know.
I have to work tomorrow.
Yeah, see, there you go. Tucker's story is mercifully brief in Brotherhood. He keeps going in Brotherhood. Oh, you mean the section? Yeah, they slightly shortened that. But either way, I'm trying to remember. I think Barry the Chopper was. Either way, they go into detail on everything in Brotherhood. They're just like, hey, remember that thing you liked in the first series? Want to know everything about it? I mean, sure. Here's 15 episodes on this one thing.
It's not that long.
No, it's not. But
it's only like 50 episodes total, I think.
The whole Ching storyline,
yeah,
and then the entire like Cersei's diversion. I mean, I get that it was all about needing to know the stuff that happened in the past, but it's just like, okay, this could have been an exposition dump. We didn't need entire episodes devoted to this.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Flashbacks, fine, but not like the entire diversion out to there. That was annoying. Her name was Olivier Mira Armstrong. Olivia. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Somebody fucking looked it up. Thanks for the stream. So, guys, of course, like, subscribe if you are new. The watching is a little bit less this week, but that's fine. And next week's Super Bowl Sunday, so who knows what's going to happen there. I shall probably be out of town. We'll see what happens. But hopefully Rodimus will be feeling better. Go over to his channel on whatever video he's got up and tell him you hope he is feeling better. I know originally Barry became comic relief. That's right. They didn't just off him. He just became comic relief. A badass murdering psychopath in crazy looking armor just made him a joke. Because and I think the other guy came. There was other ones they introduced. But anyways, like, subscribe, check out all things. Tomorrow is Masterpiece Monday. We continue on with the Constructicons. And of course, go follow Joey on all the things.
Mostly Twitter.
That's
I think it's
the thing.
at Joe's Gunpla.
It is at Joe's Gunpla. He's constantly posting the things he's working on. Like he has yet to address the stuff he's working on currently in his hand.
Oh, so I've been working on. I'm trying to build 100 kits this year to try and make it through some chunk of my backlog, and then my current project, I'm working on a group of 6 Moganox. I did buy that 36-piece set and the P Bandai leaders. So I'm trying to customize the Moganox as close to the animation as possible. The thing about that is there's only 40 units, but when you actually look at the animation, which I went through and took stills of everything, there's like 50 unique designs. So I have to kind of narrow it down.
Yeah. And you are doing a cool job customizing the shields and stuff like that.
Thank you.
But so much fucking work to do it over and over and over and over. That's one of those things that Bandai should have been on top of. If you're going to give us variations, give us proper variations.
They kind of, I mean, they gave us some variations within.
Yeah,
if you buy
but
if you buy the 36-piece set, you get 3 shoulder variations and 3 additional guns, and then a different backpack.
Yes, but the things you're modifying are the things that they should have given you the variations of, like, you know, the entire shield.
Well, yeah, but God, that would have been insane
Nice.
for them to make every single one.
One other fucking runner
Per kit.
Yeah, but they're already throwing so many in. But anyway, guys, of course, we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah.
And just look forward to all the shit that's going on here. Thanks, of course, to Joey for coming in and filling in for Rodimus. He did a good job.
My
At least
pleasure.
he knows the things that I don't know, which is always useful. And we'll probably do more things in the future.
Yeah.
I have yet to come do anything that you do. You've only come on to do my stuff.
My channel's dead.
Yeah, but you guys had that podcast and stuff for like the longest time.
Yeah, that's more of like a live, like sit down at my table thing.
But it could be done.
It could be done.
The internet is a thing.
I'll talk to George. He's in charge.
I never got to do the 30-minute nerd.
The half-hour nerd?
The half-hour nerd. I called it the 30-minute nerd.
But
anyway,
yeah,
we talked about it like however long ago.
Yeah. So I'll talk to George, though. We do want to get recording again.
Do it. I'll come play.
Cool.
Bye, guys. Have a great week.
Bye.
Happy Super Bowling. Now they're at the awkward double